You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind.
With the emergence of global internet, a human population of several billions, an electronic noosphere, that we are now within the shadow of this transcendental object at the end of time.
I find it a little difficult to say what the subject matter is going to be, because
Magic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Shake and bake, steps back, three-pointer, bang!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Midnight Variety Hour. We are here. I have Bernie Sanders
beast
on
mode.
my shirt. Hold on. It has to be on screen.
Just
There
went
you go.
Bernie mode.
We're going Bernie mode. We're going deep. Welcome to the Commie Variety Hour. We're going to get socialist in here. Just kidding. Hello, everyone. We're here with a good friend of the show who's on for his very first time, Mr. Thomas Dolifet. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
We've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time, Thomas, and you're finally here. And I think what other day than today, beautiful rainy day outside to do this podcast, right?
Yeah, I like how you said beautiful behind rainy or in front of rainy.
I love
because
rain. Rain is
A
beautiful.
lot of people are like, oh, it's so ugly outside. It's so ugly outside. You know, when it's raining, and just
Yeah.
like, what makes it ugly? Your perception of reality? I don't know. You
Yeah.
gotta ask deeper.
Yeah,
que-
rainy days get a bad rap.
Why is it ugly?
I don't know.
What makes a rainy day ugly? Good question.
Yeah, it does stress some people out. Other people are like, yes, let's go. You know, I wish I could go run in
Yeah.
the rain right now.
Yeah. But anyways,
Uh,
this is one of my best friends, TD. We go way, way back. We met at we probably met playing basketball, right? LA Fitness or something.
Probably a lifetime.
Or a Lifetime, sorry, not LA Fitness. Lifetime, and I thought he was a little punk. He probably thought I was a little punk. We talked shit while we played and pushed each other around and stuff. Probably started like that, and then slowly had like mutual friends and became closer and closer. And then you ended up coming to Kingwood Park, and we played basketball together there and had a lot of ties there. So we had awesome, and then we got into some hood rat shit, whatever you want to call it.
Doing hood rat shit with your friends. So
Yeah,
you guys
so-
met
Definitely did
in
that.
high school or before high school?
In high school.
In high school.
Well,
Okay.
well, no, we actually met before
Might
playing
have been-
basketball.
Might have been like 8th grade?
Because the Lifetime Fitness that we went to was in Atascocita, and that was the closest one to Humble, where I was living closer to Humble, and he was in Atascocita, and so we would go to the same
It was like the
Lifetime
middle,
Fitness.
middle point between
Yeah.
our two homes.
Gotcha.
Was
Right.
like,
And so
the school.
we ended up playing basketball there. And I'm sure that's where we first met each other, but we didn't introduce each other. We just knew of each other, we saw each other playing, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So yeah,
he's probably right that the first impression was like, man, this kid's a punk, because we're just going at it on the court, being
Yeah.
as competitive as
yeah,
possible.
because we both play very similar when we play. So.
I was going to say, I feel like you guys both have that competitive energy, and I
for
can just
sure, for
imagine you
sure.
guys
Yeah,
clashing,
yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And then we get on the same team, and then it's like,
Yeah,
oh, I like this guy.
It's game
This guy's
I
cool.
like his energy, so
Right.
let's go for
yeah.
it.
Damn.
So, yeah, really happy to have him here, man. And been looking forward to this for a while. We had Sid on before you, and Sid's a good friend of yours who I met Sid through you. So if anyone saw Sid come on the podcast
That was
recently,
a great episode. That was
he's-
a really
yeah, he's
great
also
episode.
close friends with TD and went to UT. TD went to UT as well. So some connections coming back around full circle, and really happy
I
to
heard
have him
what
on
Sid
here, so.
said at the end of his episode, so he will get no shout out here.
Okay. I forgot about that, yeah.
He was
yeah.
like TD's gonna be better than mine anyway. That's what he said.
I forgot. Yeah, he did say that.
Yes, I've
Man.
listened to a lot of y'all's episodes too, so
And
glad
you-
to finally be on.
You also work at Sunshine Renewables
Yeah.
with Sid. And so
Yeah.
how's that been for you? I know he talked about his experience working in solar. How's that for you? How do you enjoy that, being in that industry?
Man, it's incredible. I mean, I think the best part is that, you know, the professional development that's going on being in a new industry, people actually respect that I've been doing it for, you know, almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
And where that's kind of a lot in the industry. So
Yeah, it's such a new industry.
yeah, and you know, being able to be part of a startup in a small company that's building something big,
Yeah.
it's really, you know, you get out of bed for it.
Right.
You know, like I'm ready to do this and you know, be a part of a growing team and
Yeah.
and I've loved it. And at the end of the day, you know, the more business we do, the more, you know, carbon emissions we save, and
Right.
the
So you'd
better
say
off
you're
the planet is
passionate
for
about it. Like you're passionate.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, because I didn't have a sales position before this.
Mhm.
I just I knew that Sid was, you know, helping Jeff, you know, the founder, run this company. And so I was like, look, I'm going to come help. And so I came down to Houston and said, you know, I got to room with Sid here and come back home. I knew Adam was here, so I was like, even another motivation to come back, you know, be around familiar faces and, you know, brothers. So, I moved down and then, you know, got into it. And I, like I said, didn't have sales position, but I just was so passionate about the product, and I learned like what it was and how it worked and what it does for people. And so then it became very easy because I would just tell people about it and they could feel the passion. And then we had, you know, the backing to get it done. Yeah. And here we are, you know, 3 years later.
You're like a natural salesman for sure. Like, it's just in his blood. You know, some people are just in their blood, you know. And
there's some people that just totally can't do it. Like, there's some people, like, you know, that person cannot
just like,
do sales.
We're putting you in you know, accounting. But, like, you've had great experience working with, like, other startup companies. Yerba, I think, was the one. They sold, like, Yerba Mate. Man. Which you had a great experience getting to work directly with the entrepreneurs, the people who started it, working directly with them, seeing how to build it, what to do, what not to do. I'm sure a lot of what not to do. Oh, yeah. But I mean, weird stories. And then obviously your mom has her own, you know, business and it's very successful, right? So from what I've heard. So you have a lot of influences that kind of like touched on, especially being at UT. I'm sure like. And then we've also sold other things, you know, like on the side, but like it is what it is.
Always entrepreneurial minded, man. I definitely would say that's, you know, really defines me a lot. Ever since I think it was because my first job is at like 16, I just wanted money. Yeah. I was like, I want to be able to not ask my parents for things because I could. You know, I got things. I got a truck when I was 16. I was very blessed. Right. Still very, you know, still am. But, you know, I wanted to get my own money. So I took a job in operations at Lifetime Fitness, you know, cleaning up dirty, sweaty towels and doing all that. And I worked 40 hours one week full time while in high school. And at the end of it, on the very last day, I got a migraine. And then I got my $700 paycheck. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. I made it. And so, like, but then at that same time, you know, working so hard for that. Right. It put it into perspective. I was like, man, I was just such a piece in a wheel, you know, like just
you're just another cog in the machine.
I'm just there. Like I could have done, you know, for 3 hours of that. I was like, I did everything. What am I going to do here? Just sit and, you know, get paid for, you know, nothing and just standing around. And I hated that feeling. I was like, I don't want to just contribute to someone else's bottom line. I want to build something that's, you know, going to have an impact and, you know, provide value to other people and, you know, have more meaning. Right. So now like, I'm in that place.
Yeah, kind of rooted from you just thinking deeper on it. Like you just kind of like looked at it from a different perspective of like, okay, like what is my time worth? And I just had this conversation with Bree earlier because she actually recently got a raise. She's working as like contracting work and stuff like that. And she recently got a raise and it was like, she's still like working like crazy. Like, I mean, it's just like, just the amount of work that goes into like certain jobs, you really can't put a price on it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like there's certain work out there that it doesn't matter how much you get paid, you're still gonna be tired, working your ass off. And it's like what price is worth it? Like how much money do I have to make for this to be worth my time? You know what I mean? Right. And it really makes you like question, like why are we getting paid? Like what is my real worth of what I'm doing? Like how do I want to spend my time? You get all these questions that start coming in your head. Yeah. And so it's just an interesting thought.
Yeah.
And think about how many millions of people are just working jobs where they're just a cog in the machine. Yeah. For some crazy low amount of money. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I know there's this huge push to make minimum wage $15 an hour. And just the idea that so many people think that that's crazy.
I know.
Is absurd to me.
It really is.
You know, like we're living in a time where the cost of living has risen so drastically compared to the level of income. Like people's income has not matched the level of, you know, increase that we've experienced with cost of living. And so like we have millions of people that are out here working for $7.25 an hour, or, you know, waiters and waitresses that are making like $2.50 an hour and then tips. Mm-hmm. And then you mention like, okay, hey, everyone should be able to make a living minimum wage. Everyone should be able to live off of, you know, the bare minimum $15 an hour, which is probably even still.
I mean, some states are doing that, right? Some states
Washington,
are at 15,
yeah. I don't know if it's the whole state of Washington, but I know any job within the city limits of Seattle is $15 an hour. Right. Maybe New York just went to that. I'm not sure.
I would think so.
But so many people think that that's crazy. They think it's craziness that but then people say, you know, if the minimum wage rises, then the cost of everything is going to go up. Milk will be $7 a gallon and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just feel like it's crazy that
And
we have
small businesses.
Yeah.
Small businesses get hurt from that.
Right.
But,
huge.
that's the counter argument. But I completely agree with what you're
Yeah.
saying. I mean, people need to, get more out of their jobs.
Right.
I mean, people have to work to make a living. So it's like,
What I find so interesting, I don't know if it's almost like mass hysteria. Like everyone is just brainwashed somehow because so many people have a problem with like people who are flipping burgers at McDonald's making $15 an hour, but they have no problem with the CEO of McDonald's making $3,000 an hour. You know what I mean? And it's like, why aren't people more mad at that the fact that the CEO of McDonald's literally makes like thousands of dollars per hour if you break down their salary?
Look at your shirt. I mean, that's number one, supporter of getting people, Bernie.
But I'm just saying, why do you think that is? Why do you think people are more mad about people asking for a increased minimum wage than they are mad about CEOs making?
I don't do this. Look at a chart. Let's look at did someone actually go out and do these, ask these questions and get a poll? Like, I mean, other than that, because I mean, we're hearing what media tells us that we should think or what other people think. It's like,
right.
Like, how about we just ask the average common person? I guarantee
That's
they'll
a
all
good
agree
point.
with
Like,
this.
I'd really like to do that. I'd like to do
Yeah.
that on this show. I'd really like to go out on the street and just ask people, like
That's a
to a
good
mall
episode.
or something, like a mall where we could get like a
why not?
really good mixed group of people, right?
Sure.
And I want to ask young people, old people. I want to ask, people of all different, cultures and backgrounds, and I want to ask them what they think about things like this.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, obviously it's the conservative crowd that is more apprehensive to ideas like raising the minimum wage and things like that. And I guess when you think of, people that are conservative, you tend to think maybe older, from more rural areas as opposed to living in urban areas. And typically I would imagine the most conservative or the highest percentage race-based in the Conservative Party, I would say, is most likely white people, right? So you have older white people that typically live in more rural areas that tend to be more apprehensive towards concepts like this.
Sure.
So I want to ask them, but I want to ask younger people from, like big cities, like we should just drive to Austin sometime and then compare what we find out in Austin to like
Oh, yeah, it'd be drastically different.
go to some small city somewhere
sure.
here in Texas.
For sure.
Like one day, let's just get in the car and we'll go to Austin one day, and then like the next day we'll go.
I mean, just on the way to Austin, we could stop by like at least 20.
Think about all those
different
towns you
small
drive through,
Yeah.
and I just want to like see how, because
Yeah.
it's so crazy when you look at like a voting map of Texas and you see these like huge blocks of blue on the big cities, and then everywhere else just a field of red.
Yeah, yeah.
I do think it's something to do with media.
Yeah,
I
is
think
it just
that
like
it just
the
gets so embedded in your subconscious, you become you're like, I'm Republican,
right.
and so
and then these are the talking points I have to agree with.
this is the
bam,
box
bam, bam.
that now my ideas are put into,
Right.
and these are the thoughts that I are in line with, and
Yeah.
then everything else I'm against,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's honestly a crime to think like that. Like you gotta but at the same time I vote completely one policy. I vote for the person who's fighting climate change. And so,
Right, so
I'm
that's
kind of
your
a
number
hypocrite
one.
in a way too. It's like my only one. I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're not going to address it, then I'm not even going to consider you.
Yeah. I thought about that a lot when I was voting between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, because to be honest with you, I don't really like Joe Biden. I really don't like Donald Trump, but it came down as all right, here's two people I really don't want to vote for. The same thing in 2016 with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I didn't vote for any of them. I voted for Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, because I was like, all right, well, I don't like either of these people, but who do I think will make us last slightly longer on Earth? And I ended up voting for Joe Biden for a number of reasons, but climate change and his stance on climate change being like the biggest reason, because I just feel like that's the most important issue facing our species right now.
Yeah.
But it's like, you would say that that's pretty much the only thing you look at.
Yeah, I mean, I look at other things and I'd argue other
yeah,
points, you know what I
obviously,
mean?
yeah.
And like, I love his shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
I love
you
his
got
shirt.
it.
Gotta shout out Bernie.
That's right.
If Bernie was on the poll, obviously I would have supported him first and
Everyone would
foremost.
have. He would have definitely been voted in.
The
Like,
president we
without a doubt
need.
in my mind, I think he would have been voted
Maybe
in.
not the president we deserved, but definitely the president we needed.
Yeah. But I want to go back on what you were talking about. Like, as far as, I mean, just your perspective of how you started, and you realize you saw your first check at $700, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, okay. Like, at first you thought you made it, and then you're like, well, okay. You second guessed it. And so now you're working on, like, kind of building your own kind of, I mean, yeah, you're working with companies, but you're kind of building your own like brand by working with independent, startups and different things where you're getting like firsthand experience to see how these things do, and eventually probably maybe start your own kind of things, which I see you in that direction. You know what I mean? Or working like hand in hand, right hand man with someone. You know what I mean? Starting that. I totally see you doing that, and I only brought that up to say like you really kind of change the perspective of like, and this is what pretty much every entrepreneur does is like, okay, do I want to be that cog in the machine, or do I want to stand out and like be my own machine? You know what I mean? Kind of thing versus like kind of what you're doing and what a lot of entrepreneurs do, because it's kind of breaking the mold of like getting a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? And it's something that I think a lot of, especially in the younger generation, I think it's been just constantly growing and growing. More people want to do that as they see others do it. You know what I mean? So what are some of your thoughts on like that?
Yeah, I definitely think it's becoming more common. I feel like, man, I just, love the idea of just working for myself and not for someone else.
Right.
I think that's where it stems from, is that thought.
Right.
The rest is just big ambitions. And then, I definitely want to eventually own my own, means of, business and, ways to bring residual income. It's just things I learned very young. Like, I mean, I remember like Cutco knives or, Kiani, and they're like these MLM things that were taught in like high school, and it's kind of a sales thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's completely a sales thing that you learn very young, and you're like, man, if I could get good at that,
right.
wow,
Gives you the first.
I could really, make some money for myself. And, initially that was the motivation, and I'd say even up until last year, like the motivation was, I want to make a lot of money. But I think as you grow, you realize like that's not really the goal. I don't think it should be. I think the goal is just to, do something that's good for you and good for others. Yeah. And, you get something in the meantime. I think that's really the goal of,
Yeah. The idea of servitude, like being of service to others and ultimately yourself, because I mean, if you're not serving yourself, how can you serve others? But, it's a great point. And looking at, those little companies like Cutco and those things are great. Yeah, it's a great little experience for people who want to even get, or just be able to open their eyes to that field of, okay, I can do this. Like, you're literally going by yourself, door to door. It's just you.
You just go.
If you mess it up, you mess it up. If you sell it, you sell it. I mean, it's like, it's all up to you. So, like, it's really awesome. And I will say, every time I hang out with TD, no matter what, it's like at one point during the night or the day, some kind of concept of a business is getting brought up. Oh, we should start a coffee shop, fucking brewery, something, like, you know what I mean? So it's like he's always got that mind state, and it helps me too, because like I'm not that way. I'm more of like, I'm just different, and so it's cool to get that energy too.
Man, I think about starting a coffee shop like once a week at least. I just think I would just love that shit. I really do want to start a business, and I really think like shit. The three of us could do it if we tried hard enough.
Sure.
We
could. No, absolutely we could.
You just gotta
Adam has a
walk
lot of service experience.
Yeah.
I have some service experience as well. I kind of bridge the gap on the alcohol side. You kind of have more food.
And I like coffee.
And you like coffee, So there we go. I haven't worked with coffee, but my girlfriend Stevie is super passionate about coffee, so she could.
Damn, the four of us. There you go.
Bring it in.
I just feel like it would be so cool to have a place that I really identified with, like music wise, decor wise. Like if I could just set up a space, like I could just visualize a space in my head that would be like really true to who I am as a person. I just feel like so many people would be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to be able to do that. But I mean, it's just all those startup costs when it comes to like, I mean, the cost of starting your own restaurant or coffee shop or something like that, it's like so daunting. And I'd be so afraid of like taking out all these loans and then falling flat on my fucking face. I mean, it's obviously, and then your life's just ruined.
That is the barrier. And what I've realized doing this is that, not doing this like I run startups and stuff. I worked for Yerba, and it was a startup, and I did it for an internship in college, and then I'm part of Sunshine Renewable Solutions, another startup here in Houston, but we've been in business 5 years. But that that fear of like, man, I'd have to take out $150,000 loan to start a business. It sounds very intimidating. I understand that.
Crazy amount
but
of money,
once you get going, you realize like, I can do this. Very quickly. A lot of people don't just. It's like getting in a cold pool.
Yeah.
You just gotta jump. You can't dip your toe and then go down the steps. You gotta just jump in.
Yeah.
And I would say that would that's what I would tell people. Who are like, man, I really want to start a business. Do it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's easier said than done because I'm still over here like, man, I want to start a coffee shop every day, and I still haven't done it.
Right.
So it's like,
I mean, it's the idea of like
Yeah.
you miss every shot you don't shoot or whatever
Yeah.
you don't take. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
concept. Like if you don't take risks, how do you expect to ever
Right.
get anywhere?
yeah,
So yeah, it's definitely that. But it's much easier said than done. That's
Yeah.
100% sure. So
definitely.
yeah.
That'd be another good idea for a podcast, just a show where we just sit and talk about business ideas. You
That
know?
would, I would.
Well,
that'd be
I mean,
fun.
within if someone takes our ideas,
Yeah.
like come on now,
We'll make
like,
it
that's-
private.
intellectual property.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that's why I already I literally just stopped myself from saying something that I had an idea because I'm like, nah, I don't want
Not on
anyone to
here.
take that
That's a good.
for over. Seriously.
That's true.
All right,
this
after
is
the show,
going on the
off air.
webs.
Off air, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. If you could start any business, though, like, what would make you the happiest, do you think? What type of business? Your own yoga studio, your own meditation
Yeah, I
clinic?
mean, it would definitely be something in the field or realm of like
a vegan restaurant or vegetarian restaurant?
so it could be any of those things as long as it's something that I feel like would really help people. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I genuinely that something that's helped me that I know would help others. Like so it can be any of those things, like meditation, yoga, food. I mean, any kind of health and wellness, anything that has like a health and wellness kind of like backdrop. It doesn't have to be that up front, but like as long as it's doing something like that's bettering people, I would be very happy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, I mean, even when we talked about like a coffee, I think I mentioned it to you. I was like, dude, I maybe probably mentioned it to you as well. It's like maybe having like a meditation studio in the back of
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, Black Swan and
Yeah.
Juiceland,
yeah, for sure. They're definitely. And on the topic of coffee shops, Austin has some of the greatest coffee shops. I haven't been all over U.S., but like, especially 24 hours because it's Austin is a
Such a
huge college.
Yeah. It's a very
college
nighttime city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like, but I mean, everyone studies like at the middle of the night, and so like a lot of those coffee shops. There's one in particular, Banu, I love so much because basically you walk in and it looks like someone's living room. There's like freaking cushion chairs and couches and
Very
random
cozy.
artworks on the wall, but and they play like really weird trippy music, but it's 24 hours. And that's the biggest thing.
You can just
It's
walk
24
in there
hours.
at some cozy
Any time
living
of the
room
night, anytime.
and listen to trip hop at 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just awesome vibe, and so some of the best coffee shops.
There's
ever.
places like that too in like Brooklyn in New York. Just
Yeah.
a lot of cool, like
sure.
especially in like Williamsburg, which is kind of like the hip, trendy fucking. I mean, all of Brooklyn is cool, but Williamsburg is like the really cool fucking area of Brooklyn. Loads of coffee shops like that, and so I just feel like Houston is like really desperate for something
Oh,
like
they're
that.
so far behind.
Yeah.
We're so far behind in that.
Isn't that
For sure.
interesting?
Yeah,
It's very interesting.
And like, why? Why is that?
good question.
Let's fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Houston has been slow to develop downtown. I feel like it's just sprawling suburbs.
Yeah.
It just came in and they were like, let's just build as many homes, and people are coming to move here.
Yeah.
From Louisiana and east and up from Mexico. So many people are moving here. Let's just build a bunch of homes.
Yeah.
And just sprawl out.
I mean, Houston is a really weird city. Like I was talking about this with one of my friends, Cayman. If you're listening, shout out Cayman. We were talking about how Houston is the 4th largest city in the country, but we don't have any of that other we're not like any of the other big cities. We have no underground train system. There's
Very good
no
point.
crazy parking costs. Like you go downtown right now, if you pay to park, you pull up to one of those meters. It's what, like $1 an hour. There's no other
Which
major.
I still
ci-
get mad at.
But I mean, just think about it. There's no other major city in the entire country. Like Philly, D.C., New York City, Los Angeles. There's no way you're going downtown and parking for $1 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's just spaces everywhere. Like we're this massive city, but the majority of our city space is like sprawling suburbs.
Yeah.
And we don't have this like really advanced public transportation system. I mean,
It's
we
getting
have,
better. It's getting better.
but we have the metro
Yeah.
rail, but I mean, it pales in comparison
it's
to
not.
other,
Yeah.
And so I just we're this really weird big city. It's like we're a big city,
Yeah.
but we also feel like Kansas City. You know what I mean?
But like people don't use the public transportation here. Some people do, but like if more people used it, it would be more of an incentive to like improve it.
Yeah,
But
well,
not
the
a lot of
people that
people
use
do.
it are the people that really need it.
Right.
Right, and that's the difference in
right.
Houston. It's like people who, are in the suburbs, they have the means. They're like, I'll just drive my car
Right.
and sit on this massive highway in
Right.
traffic and
Right.
be super irritable
Right.
about it.
Yeah.
But you think it may also have something to do with, oil and gas, the presence here, and why would we give public transportation to this city when we're deeply rooted in
Right.
the city? Why would we want to build up the rail
Right.
and have it go out to Katy and make it a quick 15-minute trip so
Yeah.
none of those people have to drive? That's less oil and gas on the road.
I mean,
I
think
don't
about
know
how
about
many
that idea.
gas stations. Like, just drive around Houston and just look at how many fucking gas stations there are, for real. And then
Yeah.
go to like New York City. There's hardly any. You know, like I mean, you just walk around. Obviously, in Manhattan, there's like none.
There's like 2 on every corner here.
Yeah, here there's like gas. Sometimes like 3 sides of the
Oh, yeah.
intersection will have a gas
Yeah,
station.
it's crazy.
And it's just like it's so weird. I've never seen another like jumbo fucking city look like that. You
Hey,
know?
but shout out cheap gas prices. You know,
Yeah.
probably lowest in the country.
Sure, yeah, I'm not going to
We do
complain
not
about
bad.
that. But it's just like I would rather be able to just go to work on the train every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean, I would still want a car, obviously, for like road trips and just to be able to have a car. But my brother, when he moved to Chicago, he sold his car.
Yeah.
You know? My friend Cayman, who's moving to Washington, D.C., getting rid of his car.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, how would you rather live? You know, low gas prices, but, you know, each family has 2, maybe 3 vehicles, or not need a vehicle at all, you know? And then if you had that opportunity, would you still want a vehicle, or do you think, like, would you be okay with just taking public transportation everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
Because
I
some people
completely
want
agree.
their own space. Even if they live in a place like Chicago, some people still don't want to be on the train on their way to work.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, which I could understand. It wouldn't bother me, but, you know, I feel like here in Houston, like you said, only the people that really need public transportation are the ones taking it. Whereas, like, in New York, you'll see businessmen, suits
Yeah.
and ties,
Why
fucking
would you not take
briefcase
it?
on the train, you know? So, like, you know, you hop on the train down there by Wall Street, and, you know, those guys are all millionaires. You know what I mean? Everyone coming, you know, through Wall Street, they're just riding the subway, you know? Whereas, like, you'd never see that here. You'd never see somebody, like, you know, on the bus, like, oh, I'm heading to my job at Exxon. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me frustrated in how, like, you know, government can be so short-sighted.
Yeah.
You know, not planning for, you know, urban development, you know, further out to help more people. I mean,
Right.
it's coming. It's a train wreck. You know, you can only build and pour massive concrete slabs for so long.
Right.
Like, why not do a train? And you know, one thing that we talk about, or, you know, I talk about with friends all the time, is that Hyperloop idea.
Yes.
You know, Houston to San Antonio through Austin back to Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas would be, the economy here would be like, it could be its own country.
Yeah.
You know,
for
it already
sure.
can,
Yeah.
but that would just, you know, set it so
Yeah, it would
far
change
apart.
everything. Change everything.
Hyperloop, or, you know, even like bullet trains. You know, they're talking
Yeah.
about building that bullet train from here to Dallas, or like Galveston to Dallas. It would basically run parallel to 45, and you could go from Houston to Dallas in a little over an hour.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, that should be a thing.
Imagine that. You have friends in Dallas, and you're like, hey, you want to get together for dinner? Yeah, sure. I'll see you in an hour.
Yeah.
You just hop on the train. You just go. In Japan, they have these speed trains that go like 200 miles an hour. You know what I mean? And they're just zipping up and down. And it's like, how do we not have that here?
Yeah.
Like, our infrastructure pales in comparison to what some other countries have.
Oh, easily.
And it's so frustrating. Now, Hyperloop, I don't know how close we are to like achieving
Yeah, I
this.
don't either.
But I mean, I think they've talked about in the DC area, or like in that whole East Coast corridor, like a Hyperloop that would go between DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, some other cities in that
Right.
area. But you're just like underground in this vacuum tube traveling on some electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
And you're just zipping around at like
Yeah.
600 miles an hour, however fast Hyperloop goes. But
Right.
so you have that. Then you have Elon Musk building these tunnels, you know, boring out these tunnels under Los Angeles. I mean, that's another thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So the future of transportation in this country hopefully has a bright future, but we definitely need something, because this shit is not it. You know what I mean?
Well, anyone that lives in Houston, Texas, and you get on 610 or any of these major highways, and you start to slowly realize, actually quickly realize, that something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Whatever you want to say, I mean, yeah, whenever you're sitting stop and go traffic on a major interstate highway, there's something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has to be. It just wasn't designed for that. So, but it's all about convenience. Like, when I look at, like, you know, developing cities and things like that, like, it's purely for me, like, how can we build a city that's going to make healthy options and healthy, like, you know, choices for the environment and yourself? How are we going to make those the most convenient option? That way we make everyone's decision easy.
Yeah.
We help people make the right decision easier, you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, to me, that's the way you develop cities, you know?
Yeah, it seems like we almost do the opposite. It's like
Yeah.
in Europe, right? I mean, in Europe, if you go to Europe for like 6 weeks, you'll probably lose weight. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on how you
Exactly.
do in terms of going out and just,
Exactly.
Right.
you know, eating out. But I mean, you're gonna be walking everywhere.
sure,
You're
for
walking
sure.
to and from the train. You're gonna be walking.
Right.
You know, maybe you'll take a bike when you go to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
You know, but you're gonna be on the move, and then you come here and it's like you have to get in a car.
You have
You're
to get
getting
in a car.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you're in your car and you're in there for so long that you cruise by this window. People hand you food through the window. You get in
There
your
you
little
go.
box and you're just driving for like an hour. You're on the freeway stuck in traffic and you're just going, you're just putting fucking food in
You
your
start
face.
being a consuming
Yeah.
zombie.
And it's crazy. Like, think about that, man. When, like, you look at Europe, everyone's just walking everywhere. You know, everyone is outside. And I just feel like, I don't know, I've never been to Europe. I just feel like I never see any fat people there. Like, when I see videos of, you know, like, oh, look at the streets of Paris, you just never see morbidly obese people, you know?
Yeah, it's diet, and it's also, you know, how it's a lot to do with what you're saying. It's just the, you know, the way they live is different. You know,
Yeah.
they walk to the train, and, you know, I did a lot of that, you know, in college, like riding bike to and from campus, and
Right.
I was like in the best shape of my life.
Oh yeah, dude.
I was only walking, and I would take the stairs just because I was like, you know, real liberal in college.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna take the stairs because I'm not gonna wait on the elevator.
Dude, I
and
still
it's
do that here
healthier.
in our office. I don't
Yeah,
even
it's
use
so
our
good
elevator
for you to
here.
just take
Yeah.
the stairs over the elevator.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do it if there's, like, going to be 4 people getting in the like, if I see, like, a line for the elevator, or if I see, like, 3 people are about to get in one, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just going to just take the stairs,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's a good
I
call.
like trick myself, and a lot of those things, like I'll trick myself mentally. I'll tell myself things that make me not do certain things. Like we do it all the time, but like I like reverse psychology. Like I'll be like, why would I use that's built by a machine? I'll use my, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
organic. You know, I'll just like say
You're
weird
like, the
shit.
elevator's slow.
Yeah.
These
Yeah,
legs
I'll-
are gonna
well,
move way faster.
Our
up the
elevators
stairs.
are legit slower than like we have like old
Sometimes
generation elevators.
You and I have been stuck in one of those before.
Yeah, I've been stuck multiple times in our elevators.
I've
but-
only been stuck in it once, but it,
Yeah.
like,
Anyways, like I'll just like do little things like that where I trick myself. Like even with like working out, like I'll be like, all right, if I won't give myself an option. Like in my head, I tell myself things like, okay, you don't have an option. You have to work out today. And then when I get home from work or something, and I'm like, I sit on the couch and like, kick up my feet. I'm like, damn, I have to work out today. There's nothing that's making me do it other than my own mental
Yeah,
thoughts
right.
saying
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I have to work
Exactly.
out. And then
You've
I'm
been
like,
telling yourself that.
all right, I have to work out because I told you know what I mean? So it's like, but then I hold myself to it. It's like accountability, and it's like, same with using stairs, same with doing all of the little things that you could do throughout the, you know, that
Dude.
would help yourself. So
The power of
That's
the,
what I do.
The like, what is it? Your self voice, or what is it?
Yeah,
You
your
know,
self-talk.
Your inner voice.
Self-talk. Yeah,
Your
self-talk, man.
self-talk, man.
it's
so
happening all the
powerful.
time. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and like setting the right intentions too, to just, you know, being a growing person,
Right.
and learning from your experiences, setting all those intentions is incredible. And when you can embed it into your self-talk, that's when you really start to, you know, see huge strides
Yeah.
as becoming a human. And I think, you know, the more people that can think that way and notice that, like, man, it's really important what thoughts are going through my mind, you know, and
Yeah.
not, and what you were saying about like people going through drive-thrus and just eating food and then going home, sitting on
I mean,
the couch.
think
It's
about
like,
that, yeah.
People have really unhealthy lifestyles, and it's just like, you know, you could change that. You can change your lifestyle, and you can also change your mindset. You know, you start to think a little bit differently, but you have to commit to it, and you got to really want it, you know, and there's so many examples. That's why, you know, that's one of the great things about social media too. You get to see, you know, really motivational speakers like Eric Thomas and like
Right.
these guys who are just going to hype you up. They're going to make you want to get out of bed a little bit earlier and go to the gym. And like that can set you in the right tone of mind if you just keep doing it.
Right.
It's all about,
Yeah.
you know, creating the routine. And
Yeah. I always say I self-condition myself.
yeah.
Like I do
You have to.
self-conditioning because there's everything else out in the world that's trying to condition you.
Yes.
All the media, all of the advertisements, everything wants your attention. It's a war on attention.
It is.
And it's a war on consciousness in many ways.
That's a really good point.
And like to me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna win my own battle, my own internal battle. You know, it's like that's how I kind of feel about it sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
I like that, the war on consciousness.
Yeah, I heard that from actually Graham Hancock because he was talking about like the legalization and you know, basically like legalizing and the war on drugs. That we had the war on drugs. And it's basically like a war on consciousness if you think about it, because like if you think about all the things that influence your state of mind or have basically create altered states of consciousness, which are, I mean, if we really think about what are altered states of consciousness, I mean, coffee is like coffee. When you drink coffee, you're literally changing your state of mind. You're literally getting into a different mindset, right? And versus like sugar, chocolate, a lot of these things are literally releasing dopamines, influencing your physiology, you know,
Yeah.
which in turn changes your consciousness.
Yeah.
What is your awareness like? What is your mental state? You know, that's changing your state always. Like you're constantly doing that throughout the day. With music is another perfect example. Like how many times you put on a certain song and it completely changes your mood.
Yeah.
Your mood. That's altered states of consciousness. You know, however you want to do it, mild to extreme, which are psychedelics, which are extreme altered states of consciousness,
Yeah.
right? So you can go up and down that that scale. But he was basically talking about like how our country and many countries it's basically a war on how like we can control what states of consciousness you're in.
Yep.
Based on what's legal, what's not legal, what influences you, what doesn't influence you. It's like, so if you understand like that, then you can really start to see, okay, I need to have more control over myself because there's so many people who want to have that control.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can just simply start with, weed being illegal,
Yeah.
which is a simple, first step into looking into that. And you'd be like, okay, why would people not want me to do something with my body and, have that experience?
Mm-hmm.
Ask that question, and there's a lot that goes into it, but that's where I originally got that war on consciousness. It sounds epic, but
Yeah.
it does. Yeah, but it is a real thing, so it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, going back to what you said about the whole self-talk thing, I just got an Apple Watch for my birthday, which was a few days ago, and it has like these fitness rings on there. So it's like every day you have a stand goal, a move goal, and an exercise goal. And now my thing is like I'm using this thing as like, okay, you better close all your fucking rings today. And I've also I started yesterday. I'm really trying to improve my cardio. My goal is I'm going to run at least a mile every single day. So 7 days a week, I'm going to run at least a mile.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I ran my first mile yesterday. And I'm going to do it again today, and I'm just, like, going to force myself to close those fucking... It doesn't even have to be running, whether it's, like, hopping on the Peloton bike or whatever. So I was like, so getting an Apple Watch, and, I mean, really, like, it doesn't have to be an Apple Watch. There's loads of, like, little fitness watches.
Fitbits.
I highly recommend it, because it's, like, just one little extra thing that helps you, like, push yourself. You're like, okay, I need to set these goals, and, like, if I don't meet them, that's fucking unacceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I mean, whatever works
I
for you,
love
man. Whatever it is that helps you get there, I mean, get it. Do it.
Or what
for
I've
sure.
noticed a lot of is like people on social media will have like in their friends groups, they'll like tag each other and be like check in at the gym, and everyone has to fucking post from the gym or like send a picture from the gym that day.
Right.
And it's like your friends fucking shame you if you're not
accountability, dude.
Yeah, accountability is so either whether it's self accountability or accountability from your peers.
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
So
We have that.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
the group chat that we have with, Marcus, Adrian,
Yeah, we have a
Paul.
group chat we're in, and
Sosa.
yeah, we try to inspire each other as much as we can.
It's inspirational, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
It really
for sure.
is.
And
I'd
you
say
guys
it's
all,
inspired
like,
me in many ways.
Yeah, for sure.
make sure
Same.
everyone is like hitting their own goals and shit.
I mean, it's not really that
It's
more
not
than
even
it
that.
is.
It's
Yeah,
just like the talk and like the
Right.
want for growth and like these really, diving deep on conversations
Yeah.
and questioning. I think a lot of it comes from smoking weed, man. I really do. Like just the like questioning reality and just being like, dude, why do we
dude, where's
like,
my car?
eat, like why do we
Right.
like eat hot Cheetos?
Yeah. You think about it.
It's just,
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of a bad example,
Yeah.
but I mean, you'll question like, you'll question everything.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is like we'll post, like just for example, one of our friends Sosa, who was on the first episode. If anyone listened to the first episode, Anthony Sosa, he posted a video of him doing some handstand work or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like it's just like, hey, look what I'm working on, or
Yeah.
I'll post like something and but hey, look what I just got, or like even just a picture of my plants. Hey, look at how beautiful this plant is. Just like we try to do like inspirational things. At least I do, and a few of
Yeah.
us others. We'll just try to post in that little group chat whatever we think, people will find interesting or like inspiring them for that day, or I'll just send like
Just if you're
loving
interested
text.
in it.
I'll be like, hey, I love you guys. I love you. I hope everyone's doing really well today. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
Or we'll just put
Yeah.
text
Yeah.
like that where it just like inspires us all the time. So yeah, it's really
Fuck,
awesome.
you don't text me like that. What the fuck?
I know.
No, I'm just
hopefully-
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
We gotta add you in there, but yeah, stuff like that. And then I think especially with we're talking about accountability. Every time I work out with somebody, if I work out with you, I feel like I always have another gear. I have another shift. I can just
Yeah,
shift
it's
into
weird,
another
right?
gear. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like subconsciously just pushes you to fucking.
It's
go
very
harder,
strange because I always have another step when I work out with somebody else versus by myself. So I really want to do that more, but it's just so hard,
There's definitely psychology to that. It's a mental
sure.
state. It's
For
like
sure.
you're like inspired by the other person and you work harder because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's definitely, I mean, we did tests on it in college on like, muscle, like the contraction strength of muscles or something similar to that. And like you would do like a visual test and you would motivate the person, you just touch it. It would be like a touch test and see if like touching the muscle made you do it harder. And then they would like motivate you to do it and see if that was it.
Yeah.
And it had,
Right.
its results. I don't remember the results, but it definitely,
Yeah.
having the influences,
Yeah. So tell
They have
people
an
what you
impact.
went to school for, because I'm sure People would be interested. And you went for sports management and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
I mean,
right?
I went to college because it was expected. So that was kind of why I went to
Yeah.
college. I didn't, initially when I went to college, I'm like, okay, well, I want to make a lot of money. Let's do petroleum engineering. And then,
Whoa, dude. Yeah. I went to college and my first major was geology because I wanted to be a
love it.
petroleum geologist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, petroleum geologist, I can come out of college and make 6 figures.
yeah,
Sign me the fuck
exactly.
up. Yeah.
I think, when I was deciding on college, I'm so young, 18, I'm like, average salaries, I type it into Google, and I'm like, oh, petroleum engineer, here we
That's
go.
what I
All right,
wanted
This
to
is
do,
what I'm
yeah.
applied to. I applied to it, didn't get in. Then I did, I was like, all right, well, I'll do business school. Business sounds vague enough and like a good degree. Here we go. Didn't get into either one of those. They're super competitive at UT, and I'm not that smart. Those people are very smart.
Right.
And then after that, now I'm 2 years in at school because I went in undecided.
Yeah.
And so you get a max of 2 years to be undecided, and then they make you
Which is
decide.
ridiculous, by the way.
Yeah, they make you decide
Yeah,
after
it's stupid.
that. And so I decided to do geology because they had a huge investment from some, it was Jackson School of Geosciences is what it became because they had a huge investment from some guy with the last name Jackson. And so they had so much money that they were like, we're going to pay your tuition. If you make an A, we're going to pay like half of your tuition in that course.
Yeah.
And so when I applied, everyone applied.
Oh,
And I actually really enjoyed the geology class. I was like, this is super cool.
That was another thing. Is like I had one professor, shout out Professor Hill at Sam Houston State if you're still there. He'll never hear this, but whatever. Anyway,
tag him after.
I had this one professor. So like when I first went to college, you had to just take a science class. I was like, what science class sounds interesting? I just took geology. Fuck it. And he was like such a good professor that I actually was super interested in it, and that's kind of like another thing that inspired me to do it. But yeah, okay, so go ahead with what you were saying.
So then, then after that, I was like, well, I'm super into fitness. I play basketball probably in college. It was like 4 days a week. I work out every day or try to, ride a bike a lot. So super into fitness. And then I was like, well, I'll do sport management. It's similar to business. Just you're focused on the sporting industry the whole time, so it's a pretty particular industry.
Yeah.
But it's a business degree, and then I did a business minor as well, so it was a lot of like finance and accounting classes and things like that. So, that's what I did in college, and then, I came out of it, and my senior year I did the internship with Irva, and really got to dive deep on internship, on not internship, startup, life and what that was like and how decisions were made and who made those decisions and. It was the two founders and myself when I joined.
Yeah.
And they were just, he had started, cooking tea in his kitchen because he loves yerba mate. And he's like, man, I can't keep buying these guayaquis. There's 36 grams of sugar in this.
God damn. I don't even know much about yerba mate, but.
Yeah, so it's a tea from Brazil. It's consumed 6 times to 1 to coffee there. So they like drink it heavily. They drink it out of a gourd. They drink it hot. And it's caffeinated. And it has theobromine in it. I'm probably butchering that word, but it's a vasodilator, so it opens up your blood vessels, so you don't get like the jittery side effects of coffee. You just get very energized.
In that,
it's very uplifting.
Is it the same, or is it a different like molecule similar to caffeine, or is it actual caffeine that's in it? I was always
There is
got
caffeine.
confused from it. Okay, so there's actual caffeine, but there's
and then
another.
also
There's another chemical that kind
theobromine.
of counteracts
Theobromine.
the caffeine that doesn't give you the jitter. So
Yeah,
that's what's
which
in
is a
there, right.
vasodilator. It's actually in
Right.
chocolate as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
right.
the same. It's one of the compounds that's in chocolate as
Gotcha.
well that makes you feel really good and euphoric afterwards.
Right.
And so, he got sick of, buying that bottle
Right.
$4 every time and then being like, dang, I really like this, but I don't like all the sugar too.
Right.
Started bottling it in his own kitchen and then, came out with a great label and, started to, get it produced in a
Shit.
facility and, started to ship it to local grocery stores. There's a lot of small grocery stores in Austin. It's not
Yeah.
like Houston where it's like, you got
Yeah.
3 options, H-E-B,
Right.
Kroger, and Target.
Right.
Target
Yeah.
for groceries now. But they'd go to like Blue Apron and Wheatsville, and he'd
Yeah.
sell them there to these very
Dude, Wheatsville was awesome. I miss
mom
that
and pop
place.
grocery stores. Yeah, we used to go there all the time sophomore year.
We would get that sandwich from
That
there. They had a little
sandwich with the
deli in there. It
sprouts.
was so good.
Yeah,
Place was
Damn,
awesome.
what the fuck? I need to.
Wheatsville was good.
Huh.
it's the Austin college experience, man. You're exposed to so much living in a
Yeah.
city, and then especially that city too. Like with all the vegetarian food you can try, and small grocery stores that serve stuff you've never heard of.
Every there was a food truck on every corner. Like how there's a
Yeah.
gas station here, there's a food truck on every corner here. Right in Austin.
Chameleon Cold Brew.
No.
It started in Austin. I'm surprised you haven't seen
It has
it.
it's like cold brew,
very
and it has like a
popular,
chameleon on the front, like a white chameleon with
actually. We
like
probably know because we're from
a
Austin.
label
but-
on it. You might see if you go to like they probably only
Been
sell them at
there.
like Central Market and Whole
I
Foods.
bet
and
if I
shit.
see it, I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
What is it called?
So yeah, chameleon cold brew.
So many companies came out of Austin. It's insane.
But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a place where a small beverage like that's
Oh,
healthy
yes, I
can
know
come
this.
up,
Yeah.
and it can really take off
I
there.
have 100% seen this
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, you've
definitely.
seen it. It's everywhere now. They really took off. It was interesting because I had other people who were my age who did like internships at Chameleon Cold Brew, and I was like, this is very similar. We're just doing different beverages, and mine is like very not as matured as y'all's, right? Like there's two founders here trying to like figure it out,
Right.
and so it was really cool to see them trial and error a lot of ideas. And
How hard is it to make yerba mate? Is it like a?
It's just
very
tea,
easy.
dude.
You
It's just tea.
It's tea. So
Okay.
you
It's
just
just tea.
steep the leaves, and what we did is we mixed like 11 different herbs or 7 different herbs together with the yerba mate, and then you add lime and honey, and you have yourself yerba mate.
Dude,
Delicious.
yeah, he would give me bags of
I would
this shit,
drink it
dude. I
all
think
the
I
time.
still have
I
like
make
1 or 2
that.
bags left over
I
that
give
he
it to,
would just
all
give
my
me like
family.
Shit.
yeah, just giant plastic bags of this stuff, and I would make it all the time, dude. I loved it. And yeah, and I would just do like a squeeze of lime and a little bit of honey. Bomb, dude. It's so good. I loved it because I like tea in general, and I like to drink hot stuff too a lot. And I'm not a huge coffee drinker because
Yeah.
it messes my stomach. I feel like, ugh.
Coffee shits.
Yeah,
You get the coffee
my
shit.
my
Yeah,
stomach
yeah.
feels like
it's
ugh.
instant. You drink
But
coffee and it's
with
coming
tea,
out.
that stuff it really works, dude. You'll be in the zone, like you'll be zoning like you would on coffee, but like
Zone in.
like
I
clean
was-
energy. Just
I was
clean
sold.
energy.
I was like, this is the best thing I've ever.
It was
drank.
really awesome.
This
Fuck,
is like,
do I
why
need to go
is
get
this?
some?
Yeah,
this is.
try
Gut-
it
I
for
was like,
sure,
this
dude.
is gut scent. Like, why do not more people drink yerba
No,
mate?
it
Like,
really is
Why
an
do people
incredible
drink
drink,
coffee?
for sure.
For a while, my girlfriend and I would argue because she's like, you think coffee's bad because you like yerba mate so much, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I did. You
She's
know?
a coffee person.
Yeah, she likes coffee, and I would just like, I was so obsessed with yerba mate that I was like, just like everything sucks. This is
Yeah.
the thing. But it's funny. I mean, we'd go to marketing events and we would have a tea party.
Right.
We would just be chugging teas.
Holy shit.
And then afterwards, because of all the theobromine and caffeine, we would just be like
Wired.
going at it.
Yeah.
Going at it, yelling, gathering people
What was
over,
that?
pouring tea, sharing it with the world, pushing it out.
There's another spot. Was it called Kava? Or was
Kava.
That? There's another spot
there's-
in Austin.
yeah,
It's this
it's
freaking
called a
shack.
Kava root bar.
Yeah, this Kava root bar in Austin.
Something
It's
like that.
basically mud water, bro. When you drink this, no one goes there to drink
Mud
it for
water?
Dude, this is what.
the. No
yeah.
one goes there to drink it for the taste.
Oh,
no one.
gosh.
Okay,
Yeah,
imagine.
You don't.
It
Imagine-
tastes like dirt.
Okay,
Oh,
listen.
it's
Imagine a
terrible.
shop, right? Imagine there was a spot down the road you can go to go get a beverage, right? That was it looks like mud water. It tastes like mud water. Like, why would you go?
And you just
Like, how
you
would this be a successful business?
like you drink like this much,
But
like shot glass
Dude, they put
size.
it in like a coconut.
Yeah.
In like a hollowed out coconut.
So Austin.
And
this is
it's like
ridiculous.
it's a Polynesian root is what it is.
Yeah.
And I guess they just brew it in water.
right.
And
Let me
I
guess.
mean,
It's stupid expensive. I'm guessing.
No,
I mean,
no, no, it's not
we
that
could go
expensive.
outside right now and scoop some dirt and put it in water, and you could swirl it around and drink it. I mean, it's probably too clay here.
No.
But it
wouldn't
would be similar.
Pass.
It's terrible. It's pretty
Yeah.
terrible. But also, we had a really bad experience because at Adam's bachelor party, we
Well,
went there hungover,
did
and
we?
they say not to drink it. When you
Why?
like
I
had
don't remember
alcohol in
that.
your system.
Something
but
in
we
the-
went there, and man, it like really upset the stomach. But I remember when you go on a normal date, it'll numb your mouth a little bit. And
It
you'll
would numb
Numb
your
your mouth.
It numbs your lips completely.
numb-
What the
numbs
fuck's
your
in there
lips.
that does that?
Yeah.
The Polynesian root. That's where it's from. The kava is like a Polynesian root.
Yeah, it's just a root that goes
Well,
around
what is
like
what is
ginger.
the benefit of it?
It's like
Yeah,
you
so-
get these different. It's similar to weed in a way. Actually,
Yeah, it's very euphoric.
There's like a euphoric one.
Yeah.
There's one that like helps you sleep. There's one that helps you relax.
Right.
And so they like have 3 different blends,
Mm-hmm.
and those are you can kind of pick. You go in and you pick. You're like, yeah, I want an uplifting one because I'm gonna read a book,
Right.
or I'm gonna go back and go to sleep. So give me like the sleepy one,
Mm.
which is interesting that
Yeah.
it's so similar to weed. I never drew that comparison until just now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's sativa and indica. With weed, it's like one gets you one and one gets you the other.
Yeah.
State of mind.
yeah, it's just understanding like there's so many different like organic compounds out in the world
Yeah.
that we can be using right now for everyday situations that we just not because there's not an industry built around them or
Yeah.
Yeah.
people just I have to take ibuprofen.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
fuck
That's
it.
true. It's in every
Walgreens.
corner store.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's just another example of like how crazy and weird Austin was and different.
Yeah.
Because I mean, same with yerba mate. Like you go to any like taco shop or anything like that, they're probably gonna sell yerba mate there. Like
Yeah.
so, but versus here, like you're not gonna get that in Houston. But like
Sure.
Austin was just so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What a place.
Yeah.
Why don't we go more?
Huh?
Why don't we go to Austin more?
Good question.
Like, it's literally just 2.5 hours
I
away.
know.
We could go all the
pretty
time.
close.
It's a great question.
Stay in a teepee for like $30 a night. No, for real, man.
You don't have to pay anything these days. I mean, well, I think they changed the city ordinance,
Yeah.
but public camping was
No, I
good to
mean,
go for a while.
Really, like for real, I want to go soon. It's been a while since I've just gone to Austin to go to Austin.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the last time I went to Austin just to go to Austin was that time we went, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was
Yep.
what, September of 19, you know? Or
Yeah.
was it 18? 19.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was 19.
Pretty sure it was 19.
Yeah. That was the last time. So, you know, almost 2 years since the last time I went to Austin. And every time I go, I have a fucking amazing time.
Yeah. It's a
And so,
Beautiful
awesome
city.
spot.
what a place.
Remember that girl? Like we were talking about this the other day. Remember that girl who was walking down the street and she was like really mad that we were driving the scooters.
Oh, yeah. She was crazy, man. I mean, Austin has like a lot of crazy people, you know? And there was this woman. See now Austin has those like the bird scooters and like the lime scooters. And so we're like riding these electric scooters around. There's this woman who just starts yelling. She's walking down the street and she sees us riding these scooters and she just starts yelling, "You're gonna kill somebody!" And she's just like starts screaming, "You're despicable, riding those death machines!"
Yeah.
And then Adam sees this woman freaking out, and Adam just goes, "I love you," and she looks back and goes, "I hate you."
Bro, it's so funny. It was so funny. Oh my god.
That was pretty good.
Those things are badass, though, man.
Yeah.
Why doesn't Houston have those?
They do now.
I haven't seen a single
It's
one.
also
parts.
because it's like you drive downtown and it's like I can't get around this huge downtown. I need to
And there's
drive.
also like nothing. There's nothing to do
There's
down there
nothing to
either.
do.
Really,
There's
you can go to
nothing to do.
Discovery Green. You can go to
Yeah.
some of those like food halls, like they have Finn Hall
Yeah.
and they have the conservatory. I don't know if it's still
Like
called the
Washington,
conservatory.
maybe. Go down Washington.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I mean downtown Houston.
No, it's not. It's
It's like
not. It's not built the same.
downtown.
Unless you're a
It's-
fucking
yeah, it's
businessman.
different.
I mean, they have the tunnel system, but obviously.
But we do have the bikes. You can rent the bikes and stuff
Sure,
like that.
I mean, like
but
yeah, those are cool. But I mean, just those scooters are so fucking
but
dope.
I will say the scooters
scooters
too
are fun.
have a big problem too because I know in DC and other places like dude they'll just be scooters laying everywhere. When I went to DC, there were just scooters laying on benches and
Everywhere.
parkways and they're just it looks ugly. Like it looks
Yeah.
it doesn't it's not very aesthetically pleasing because they're just laying around in different places.
I
But
feel like
the-
they could fix that so easily. If
Yeah.
you don't drop it off at a like
No.
depository
But here's the cool thing about it
you
though.
get
Yeah.
pinged on your car.
But here's the cool thing: like, if you
Yeah.
drop it off like at a park or outside of a brewery, or if you're going to a bar or something, you leave it there. If there's someone leaving from that spot and they want to grab it, they can because you can't reserve it. Once you're off,
Right.
you're off.
Right.
So that it does make it easy and convenient. You know what I mean? If they're already parked outside of like a bar or something,
Right.
and you're leaving the bar, you just hop on one of those and go.
Sure.
Versus having to go find the nearest location where one of those are to get on it and take.
Sure,
it. You know what
I mean,
So,
yeah, and that's cool, and it's cool how there's
But,
like
yeah.
I don't know if they have it in Austin, but I know they have it in Seattle and in Portland, where it's like you just have an app and it shows
Yeah.
you where every single
Yeah.
scooter is at in the
Yeah,
city or
for sure.
bike, you know. So I mean, yeah, that's cool. It's just like it is a bit crazy when it just looks like scooter wasteland,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then you have like I always think it's funny when you see the people that charge them up for money. You see pickup trucks just fucking piled
Loaded.
up with scooters just in the back.
Loaded.
But I didn't know we had them in here in Houston.
I think I've seen a couple. I don't think they're very like popular at all. I think
I bet
they
it's
only
not
have a
downtown.
couple.
I bet it's like in
No.
the Heights or something, right?
Yeah, I've
Or,
only
like,
seen
White
it. I've
Oak.
only seen them very rarely, so I haven't seen them like crazy yet.
Yeah.
But it's probably coming, I'm sure.
Midtown, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston's just so spread out, you know? But okay, let's do an Austin trip sometime soon.
Yeah.
I'd be down. I love Austin.
Yeah. My first time going to visit Austin was with TD,
Mm-hmm.
and we pulled. I pulled
TD's
up,
laughing like.
and I think I was helping you move into your place or something, or maybe helping you move into a new spot. I think you're moving out of a dorm or something like that. I don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We were moving your stuff, and then like, I think it was we just got done that night or something. And we were like standing out in the parking lot, and there was somebody like there was like a little apartment high rise right next to it, right next to him. This girl was out there
remember
smoking a
this.
bowl. And he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we're like, "Oh, we're doing good. You know, how are you?" And we just like had a conversation with this girl who was sitting on her balcony. It's like, "Hey, you want to come up and smoke?" And we're like, "Sure." So we ended up going to this random girl's apartment. We're in her apartment, just hanging out.
Never met her
And she
before.
offers us like just being very cordial and very sweet, nice. And we just hang out, talk to her for like 15, 20 minutes, and we leave. All right, bye. And then like
That's such a like you would imagine
Yeah.
something like that happening in like 1968.
right.
I can't imagine that happening in like whatever year that must have
that's
been,
a very good point.
2016 or whatever
Yeah,
year
that
it
was that was 20. Yeah, that was like 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is
2015.
true. And then on top of that, it's like depending on where you live, that could be
Yeah.
completely different. Very different
Maybe
perspective.
more
like,
common in like
Sure.
Portland
Right.
and Austin.
That
Exactly.
shit's not
You know?
happening in like Detroit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah.
and not as much in Houston either.
No, I mean
No,
this girl
yeah.
lived by herself.
That could've-
Invited two guys in,
Bro,
and we were just
it
like
could
hanging
have
out.
gone so horribly for her. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I think she was living from a different perspective than the average. I mean, if you're thinking
Sure.
that every single person is a criminal or could possibly rape you or kill you or do something, like you're living with that fear in your mind, then
Yeah.
you're not going to do that.
She
But if
was
you're someone living-
operating
yeah.
in like a mind space of like how the world should be.
Yes.
Yes.
It should be like, hey, stranger, you're my friend. Come on up and. But
Yeah.
can't do that shit now. She's lucky that went well for her. But I mean, like, that's how the world should be.
But I mean,
In a perfect world, the
I
world should be like that.
wouldn't consider her lucky more than
Yeah.
I would just her being, using her best judgment. Because like, I think you can tell fairly quickly if somebody's bad or bad energy or something. I mean, obviously there's, it's not true for everything. But I mean, I think
look at Ted
if you're-
Ted Bundy.
I know, but
We literally ran into her like while we were throwing things out after moving in because we were by the
Yeah.
dumpster.
Yeah.
We were throwing things away, having probably a gleeful time doing it, probably messing around, breaking stuff. We threw it away or something, and then
She's like, come on up and just have a smoke. And
yeah,
then
have a smoke.
30 minutes later, you guys left.
yeah.
Yeah,
Never saw her again.
never
No,
saw.
but
her
that
again.
happened. But that was common. That happened to us all the time.
Yeah, it did happen.
All
a
the
lot.
time. When
We
you're in
just-
Austin,
you just
you
meet
meet
people and you
people,
become friends.
And they're immediately
It
friends
reminds me
within
of
a
the
second.
Greenbelt in Austin. I mean, you go to
Yeah.
the Greenbelt, like Twin Falls, Sculpture Falls, where
Yeah.
it's just like water and places where people
Dude,
drink.
everyone's
and
so
smoke.
friendly.
Yeah, I mean, you will
Yeah.
make a friend that you don't. I mean, it's gonna be hard not to
Yeah.
become friends with somebody
Yeah,
and like
Houston's
socialize
like
with
that
someone
too.
else.
I pretty commonly meet friends, but I feel like the connection is a little bit harder to make, like a stronger connection, like versus there. I feel like as soon as you start talking to somebody, you're immediately like everyone feels like super close.
Right.
Versus Houston is like you can talk to someone, oh, have a nice day, whatever, but you're not gonna be like, you're still gonna have that little bit of distance. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not
You know,
gonna be
that's
like,
interesting. That might be because like in Austin, that people are, if you're living in Austin, you're probably a lot
You're a
more
certain type of
like-minded,
person,
right?
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
more like-minded
I think so, too.
to your the people around you. And so in Houston, especially the blue dot people, you might kind of be like, well, this is still oil gas country, and
Yeah.
this is, you don't have to go far to
Yeah.
find a blue zip code
Right.
or a red zip code. And
Yeah,
so it's
like
like you
where
kind of
it's like-
teeter that line where
Like
you know,
Austin,
that
it's like the whole
comfortability.
city is like that. Houston, I feel like there's neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You're like, if you're in this neighborhood, you're more likely to be around like-minded people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've only been to Portland once, but that's definitely the vibe that I got
Really?
from
I
Portland.
could see
Yeah,
that
Portland
very
is
quickly.
Portland is such a cool city. First of all, the air just feels amazing in Portland. Like everything feels so clean. And then like Nike is there. So like all the bikes there in the city are these orange Nike bikes. Everything's all badass and everyone's
yeah.
riding Nike bikes around and everyone is just like friendly, just talking to everyone, It's
Yeah.
very cool. Portland's a very cool city.
speaking
Yeah,
of
I've heard good
Portland,
things.
how about Dame time?
Dame
time.
Dollar Sign.
Here we go.
I had to bring it up at one point. I
Hey,
was
that's a
thinking
good-
of how
there's
to
no
fit it
better
in, but-
time
Dame.
than Dame
Because
time.
we just witnessed one of the most epic individual performances ever in any sport by any individual of all time. Like, just epic
It was
proportions.
incredible.
Seriously.
Is Damian Lillard the most clutch person who's ever lived?
I'd say that's one of the most clutch performances I've ever
Yeah.
seen,
I think, I mean, in my time, like, watching the NBA routinely, I would say he's, him and Kobe are
Most
like
clutch
right
since
there.
Kobe,
It's
yeah.
like,
Yeah, Kobe's
you don't
there.
think, like, I mean, literally, he has the ball and you just know.
I just
Like,
knew.
why would, it's not going to leave his hands. The one time he did pass to CJ and he stepped out, I was like, don't pass the ball. Do not pass the
Well, there
ball
was-
when
there
you're.
was enough
he's
time
in.
for
You
the
can
ball
tell
to
he's
come
just in a
back to him.
complete
Right.
flow state. Like
Right.
the world around him doesn't exist. It's him and the goal.
That's
what's like so inspiring about it to me. It's like you can tell like that he's put in the hours.
Right.
He's put in the work and he's earned
Right.
that right and he
Yeah.
believes it in himself.
Because-
That's what I like the most about it.
well, like Adam and I were talking about this earlier, and Adam brought up a really good point. He was like, it's not like Damian Lillard is the greatest player in the league. There's other people with his talent level, and it's like, why aren't they doing that? And it's just because somehow he's figured out how to get into like this flow or
Yeah.
this like locked in mentality. Because think about those two shots that he hit, especially that second one to send it to double overtime.
Yeah, that's like
It was a horrible shot. He was guarded. He had to do a step back turnaround three. It was nuts. But for some reason, when it left his hands, you just knew there was no way it was not going in. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, there are loads of people with his talent level that could have taken that shot and missed the same exact shot.
Yeah.
But for him, it's like you just knew it was going to go in because somehow he's locked into some sort of like inner peace, or I don't know how the
You
fuck
go
he
to
does.
this different
Yeah.
mental state when you're playing basketball at that level.
And then he passes the ball to CJ McCollum, and he just
Such a buzzkill,
steps
man.
right on the
I
line.
know.
He just steps right out of bounds.
So brutal.
If
What
that
a way to end it.
if that ball got passed back to Damian Lillard, 100% there would have been a third overtime.
You know, in the last 2 overtimes, I think I read the stat that like the rest of his team was 1 for 19 or something like that.
Yeah, he scored 17 straight points. 17.
He was like 4 for 5 from 3, and the rest of his
Yeah.
team was 1 for 19.
I think he scored every point in both of those overtimes.
Yeah. Not only was his performance epic, but that game just in general, it had so many factors that
Right.
made that game great. The fact they came back by 22 points down. They were coming back the entire game. And then in overtime, they come back by 9 points.
Right.
When you're in overtime and you're down by anything more than like 5 to 9 points, it's like looking grim.
Yeah.
They're down by
Yeah.
9 points.
With like
and he
2
brings
minutes
them
or
back.
less. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like a lot of times
what?
when a game goes to overtime, 1 or 2 minutes into the overtime,
Yeah,
you
and
can
you
tell
know
which
who's gonna
team's
win.
going to win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like everything looked like Denver
Yeah.
had it in the bag. They were up by 9 with like a minute and 45 minutes left.
so crazy.
And I was about to turn the game off. I was like, "Ah, damn,
Same.
that's disappointing, but this is over. Like, there's no way. And then just, what did he score? Like 8 straight? 8? It was like an 8-0 run,
Yeah,
just all
yeah.
Damian Lillard.
Yeah. I think he got a and one and then
Yeah.
hit a 3 and then, yeah.
And there's not many guys that can do that. So I'm praying that, because they play tonight, right?
Mhm.
We're recording this on Thursday night. So hopefully they force a game 7. Because if they force a
Yeah.
game 7, Dame's carrying them to the.
But I mean,
He's got to
look,
play such a good team.
but
is the
Denver's
problem.
really
Denver's
good.
so
I mean,
good.
I will say
Jokic,
this-
I mean, the Joker is
I was going to say that
he's
too.
the best center.
He's the
He mi-
MVP.
He might if he can stay healthy for a few more years too,
Yeah.
and get some championships.
I mean, we're talking about how great of a
I mean,
performance,
This guy is insane.
how great of a performance Dame had, but yet they lost. So we're
Yeah.
talking about another team and another player who, I mean, obviously he's their leader and possibly MVP this year. Literally was making big buckets, big
He was
passes
hitting
every
threes,
play.
too.
I mean, even the passes he made one pass to Porter in the corner that made one of the best defenders in the league, Covington, fall, literally trip on himself because he's like, he didn't even know what the hell to do. He's like, he made that pass over
Oh,
me.
that
Like,
was
he just threw an
nuts.
overhead
Yeah.
pass in the corner I mean, it was incredible. Like, that guy's insane.
And the thing about
right
Joker
into the
is
shooting
like,
pocket.
yes, it was just
Well,
like perfect.
it's like whether or not he's passing or whether or not he's trying to score, he just makes it look so effortless.
Oh, yeah.
Like you just watch him play especially on offense. He could grow a little bit on defense, but like when you're watching him on offense, it's like it's not even hard for him.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch like a dad in the neighborhood playing all the neighborhood kids, and he's just like effortlessly like doing whatever he wants. That's how it looks when he tries to score. And so yeah, I mean he's my MVP. I used to say it was Joel Embiid, but I think it's
He's
got
my
to be
MVP as
Joker.
well.
Yeah, he's so good. And I mean, if this Nuggets team had Jamal Murray, I think it might be a different story. But I think Portland has a real shot tonight.
I agree.
It's going to be a great game. I'm very excited
Yeah.
to watch it. But it's like,
Oh, another thing with that game, Nurkic fouled out with like 6
yeah,
minutes in the fourth.
Nurkic fouled
Yeah.
out, and he
That was
I was
another
wondering
thing
where
about
he
that game.
was. I was
Yeah,
wondering where he
But
he
was.
fouled out with He made 2 really dumb fouls at the end of the game. It's
Yeah.
just like bonehead plays. You're like, come on, man.
Right.
But so it's like Dame literally had to do everything on his
because
own.
I think we're starting to find out Portland needs a different number. Like CJ
Yeah.
can't be your number 2.
No.
He's a solid number 3 option, but Portland needs a different number 2.
Yeah, I don't
guy.
ever see them winning a title with the team they have. for sure.
No. And Terry Stotts is a good coach. You know, they need either like a really dominant big, like maybe their number 2 guy becomes like a Karl Anthony Towns or something like that. You know, a young big who can be your number 2 option, but also is a great big man presence. I don't know. But
Yeah, like a Christian Wood kind of guy. Someone who
Sure.
can drop 20 easy, get you rebounds.
but also
Nurkic.
gives you size.
Man, Nurkic is just like,
Nurkic is
he don't have it, man.
What do you mean?
He just doesn't
He's
have
so
it.
solid.
He's solid, but like with Nurkic, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get. He'll play
Yeah.
soft sometimes. He likes to do finger rolls. It's like we don't need our big man doing finger rolls. We got McCollum and Dame doing finger rolls.
You
You
want
need
to
to
dunk it?
Yeah, we need to put. We need to like. He has
I
to
want him
make,
to dunk it and not do a finger roll.
but I'm saying like it's just his way he plays. He's a little softer. He's a little more touch oriented. You know what I
No
mean?
respect for Nurkic.
No, he's a great player. I would love. I would love to have him. I would love to have him on Rockets or any other team like that. I support.
I feel like Portland's problem
But,
is
like,
their depth.
Yeah, Nurkic is a bench player.
Yeah.
Nurkic is a come off the bench and get you points and some. he's not your solid number 2 or 3 guy. You know what I mean?
Like if,
to me,
if
at least
Nurkic
how I
can
see him.
bolster your second wave, then yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So
I don't
Portland
know.
needs something. They're definitely not a championship team. Even if they do move past Denver, which I don't know if they will, but even if they do, I mean, they're not making a title run. You know, I don't think they're better than Phoenix.
What about the Lakers? Can they make it?
The Lakers aren't going to make it out of this
Are
round.
they done? Do they play tonight?
They do play tonight. So it's going to be 2 really good games tonight.
Yeah.
It all comes down to, like, does LeBron score 50 tonight? Because if he doesn't, or does LeBron get
That's
18
true.
assists tonight? Because if he doesn't,
Yeah.
without Anthony Davis,
Yeah.
that team,
I agree.
they're soft, all right? Because, like,
Dude,
the-
you was talking so much shit earlier
they're
about the Lakers.
fucking
I was
soft.
like,
Lakers are-
chill, bro.
They are
They
like,
need AD. It's surprising to see the huge hole that he left
Right.
when he left.
they are like fucking dryer sheet soft, okay? like guys like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope have to fucking play. They have to step up. Dennis Schroeder
Kyle
has
Kuzma.
to step. Kuzma.
No, Kuzma don't have it either,
Yeah,
man.
I don't think.
You don't
I
like
think
Kuzma,
Kuzma just
bro.
doesn't
You don't
have
like
it.
Kuzma.
Nah.
But guys like Schroeder, because without Anthony Davis, Schroeder is the second best player on that basketball team, and he has to play like it. He's just ghosted. He's just gone. You know.
I mean, what about Drummond? We're like Drummond's
Where
been
is
That's a good
Andre
point. That-
Drummond?
I mean, Drummond should be able to step up.
He has
and
to.
you don't really fill the Anthony Davis
Man.
void as much,
Right.
Right? Maybe not in the paint, but like you're not going to stretch all the way out,
Right.
like Anthony Davis does.
But if he
I mean,
can
still for
dominate-
the post presence, like,
Drummond
come on,
better
where you
get
at?
like he better
Yeah.
get like 20 rebounds tonight.
Yeah,
or
he should
yeah.
go 20 and 20 really, and like have a real game.
He has
win
to
a playoff
dominate the
game.
boards. He has to dominate.
He's
the
got to
boards.
play with the confidence, and that's the thing about LeBron is like you expect him to bring that out of people on his
Yeah.
team. You expect him to bring
And
20
normally,
out
yeah.
of Drummond and like 25 points out of Kuzma because
Right.
he's like shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And,
give it
like,
to you.
Normally,
and you're
I
gonna score.
feel like he does. You
Yeah,
know,
he
like, but
does.
for some reason, I don't know if it's like maybe a coaching problem. If Frank Vogel just isn't the fucking guy, I don't know. But this Lakers team, I'm going to be honest with you, I had them winning the finals originally when I had them going to the finals, losing to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I did too.
They're not getting out of the first round. They're not going to
we'll
beat
see.
Phoenix.
I mean,
If
it
they
just
can
depends on
force a
LeBron.
game
I'm pretty
7,
skeptical too.
if they
I
can
agree.
force a game 7, I have a lot of faith in a game 7 LeBron, because LeBron can. I think he still has maybe one more season where he still has that fuck it take over ability, and then he won't have it anymore. But I still think LeBron has it. When LeBron is at 100%, he has that fuck it, let me just take over this game and do what I want ability. He has to do that tonight. He'll have to do it in a game 7.
You know what's also interesting in the playoffs? There's always 1 or 2 teams who has like magic. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter how good they are or what's going on, but like there's like just magical plays that happen and like things that happen that just go your way,
Right.
or like you know what I mean?
Right.
And like to me, I feel like one of those teams is the Mavericks, and the other one is it's got to be Denver right now because of like what just happened recently. But
Yeah.
like there's some teams like that can overcome. It feels like they can just overcome anything. They're gonna win no matter what. You know, like
Yeah.
Lakers don't look like they have it. You know what I mean?
It seems like the Suns kind of have it.
Suns
The
is a
Suns,
good.
shit,
look
the
like they
Suns definitely had it last year when they went to the. I mean, even though the way the seeding worked out, they didn't get in, but they played 8 games in the bubble. They won all 8 of them. Like they just had, when the Suns like 3 games into that 8-game winning streak, it was like just known that
That's
like
before Chris Paul too, right?
that was before Chris Paul, and they
And you add someone like him to
Yeah.
a team, he's just such an.
But what's
anchor.
his injury report right now? Is he good to play?
yeah, but he's like definitely
just not
100. I think
100%?
he will
Oh,
play,
he,
but
he did something to his leg the other day.
I know his leg, but I know he had something on his shoulder. He got like elbowed in his.
yeah, and I think he also has a thumb injury or something like some shit like that.
He's banged up.
Terrible.
He's banged up.
We'll see what he looks like tonight. But it's
Yeah.
just like they had that magic last year, and I think they have like a little bit of resentment towards like I mean, that Suns team was playing some of the best fucking basketball I've ever seen, and they didn't get a playoff spot. And so now I think they're like, let us show you what this team can do, you know? And they're going to start off their playoff run by knocking off LeBron James and the reigning champions. If that doesn't give you some fucking gas in the tank to make a title run,
Yeah, sure.
if Phoenix gets past LA, which I think they will, I think they might go to the finals.
I don't see them getting past. I don't see them getting past Denver or the Mavericks.
Is there any question that Brooklyn comes out of the East? Can we
No,
just kind of
no.
wrap up the
Brooklyn's
East? The East is just
100%
kind of
going.
No,
done.
I definitely don't think so.
What?
I think Milwaukee's coming out. I think Milwaukee's gonna win it all this year.
Okay, so
Really?
For
That's
real, like
interesting.
I
I'm
said this in
100%
our-
sold on that. On Milwaukee,
Interesting.
for real.
Interesting.
I
That's
definitely
a hot
don't
take.
think
That's a hot take. Right
but I'm
now.
serious. I'm
But
dead
no, I mean,
serious.
a lot of
Take.
people, a lot of analysts agree with you. And I said this
I can
on our
see that
sports
too.
edition. I said that second round matchup, Brooklyn and Milwaukee, that is the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, they play in the second round.
Yeah,
oh,
they-
okay.
that's
well,
next
it's whoever
round.
they
wins
play on
that.
Saturday.
Yeah.
The first
Will
game
come
is
out.
Saturday.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about Philly versus Atlanta because without Joel Embiid,
No.
they might not even beat Atlanta.
No, I don't. I mean, Atlanta's so hot right now too. They're
And
playing
Atlanta,
on.
shit,
Yeah.
breaks my heart to see
Amazing.
them beat the Knicks. But Trae Young and those boys, like, they're playing really good basketball.
yeah.
But they're not beating Brooklyn. They're just not.
No, definitely. Whoever's coming out of Atlanta and Philly, not going.
No.
No, definitely not.
So, dude, I don't know. We'll see what happens with LA and Dallas, but I really would put some money on Brooklyn versus Phoenix in the big dance.
Who's Phoenix gonna play if they beat the Lakers? Is it Denver?
The Jazz, I think?
It's
Or
a
would
good
it be
bracket.
Jazz?
Let me look at the bracket. Because if it's the Jazz are getting their shit run.
No, Jazz are nice.
The Jazz are
No.
solid.
Jazz are nice, man.
As long as Spider.
I have no
Spider
faith
stays
in
healthy.
the Jazz.
Why?
I just don't see it. I don't see it when I watch them play.
Mitchell's ready now. He's ready. He's got his experience. He's ready now.
Oh, no. The winner of Phoenix and LA has to play Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I think Denver. I don't think.
Ooh,
I
bro.
think Denver's gonna beat
Phoenix
them for
and
sure.
Denver is a good series.
Yeah, I think Denver will take it though. Yeah, that's
I don't
just
know.
me.
I'd love to watch DeAndre Ayton and Jokic battle it out.
Aiden will get his ass handed to him. No one.
He can't guard him.
No, he's
There's
not
really
guarding.
a lot.
him.
I don't think
He's
there's
not guarding
really
him.
anyone in the NBA who
No.
can.
Yeah.
You can try to contain him.
Yeah, but
I mean, there's a lot of people like that in the NBA though right now. If you think about it, I was just thinking that the other day. Like NBA is just so stout with talent now.
Oh, it's
Physically,
It's
I mean,
nothing like it used
yeah.
to be.
No,
There used to be like a
definitely
few
not,
people,
bro.
and you're like, man, there's like 6 guys,
Right.
Yeah.
and I'd take them every day. Now
Yeah.
there's like 50 guys, and you're like, man, I don't want any of these guys running my,
Yeah,
my
dude.
franchise. Like, there's
Yeah.
so
For real.
many phenomenal players.
like Joel Embiid, like who stops him when he's healthy? You know,
Yeah,
no one.
yeah, exactly.
Physically, he's just fucking ridiculous. And then like even smaller guys, you're not stopping James Harden from scoring.
Steph Curry.
You're just not. You're not going to stop Steph Curry from scoring.
Yeah, and then-
Trey
Yeah,
Young.
the younger
You're not
guys.
going to stop.
When he came
yeah.
in the league, I was like, this guy's too small. There's no way. I mean, people said that about Steph Curry, and I thought Trey Young was even smaller. I was like, this
He is
guy,
smaller.
like, I'd be surprised if he's amazing. And then
Yeah, his heart is
He's
100%. Like if you
yeah,
could like give him a
he's
rating on
cold-blooded.
heart,
He
it's
is
like
a-
100%.
he
you
is
know?
Ice Trey, man.
He has
he's
that,
For
like-
icy.
sure, dude.
that same energy that Jimmy Butler had last year when he was just like willing the Heat to
Yeah.
go all the way. That energy lives in Trae Young.
Yeah.
That fucking just dog mentality. You know, Trae Young is a fucking hustler.
Oh yeah.
He's really good at basketball.
Yeah.
So,
So
you know,
yeah, and
it's
then
like-
and then what Luka's doing, like Luka could possibly be the best player of all time if he continues at this rate. You know what I mean? If he continues at what he's doing now, dropping 40 every game
He's
in
definitely in
the
the right
playoffs.
organization, too. Being
Dude.
a European on the Mavs, I mean, he's going to get everything every wanted.
Oh,
He's-
for sure.
Luka is really on the path. If he's only 22. Is there anyone, like maybe 22-year-old Derrick Rose, but is there anyone else in the history of the NBA that at 22 was this good?
Jordan
think
was
Jo-
this good, yeah. Because Jordan was putting up 40-point games in the playoffs at 22, 23 years old. Yeah, he was. He was
He
beating.
did have the takeover ability.
He,
like
but he
that.
was the only person on his team, but he was dropping 40 in the playoffs at super young ages, beating making it tough for the Celtics
that's
and shit.
true.
Like he was definitely.
But Michael Jordan wasn't having games with 18 assists.
I think he definitely
The
wasn't doing
numbers
that.
aren't the same, and that's
and he
also
definitely wasn't rebounding like
Yeah.
That's also
Luka.
that's also because of the game.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
also
yeah,
because of like
possessions,
Luka's
right?
size and his style.
Yeah, you have
But
to
I'm
do
just saying that-
you have to do per 75 possessions, and you get a better idea.
Yeah.
But like what he was doing though, I think if you look at like the first, they did. I think I saw a stat of like first 11 or 12 games, first 11 or 12 playoff games played. Who has the most points, and it's Jordan.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at assists and rebounds, and it's like,
Yeah, I mean for sure he's got to beat 100%. Yeah. So
I'd
it-
imagine they're pretty close points wise, and then rebounds and assists drastically in Luka's favor.
Sure.
You
Trey
know?
Young set that record. It was like 30, the youngest player since Jordan to
Yeah.
score like 30 in like 3 straight playoffs games
Yeah.
or something like that. That's impressive stat.
Trey, damn, he's really impressive. The future of the NBA is so bright, and I
Yeah,
think this
it is so
this
bright.
playoffs is really showing us like the revolution is being televised. Okay, guys like Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Trey Young, Luka, all these young dudes that are just gonna be the face of the NBA for the
Jamal
next era.
Murray, John Morant.
Ja, yeah. I know Zion's not in, but Zion, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just like these guys. When the whole Durant, LeBron era is over, dude, we are in good hands. We are in really fucking good hands. Basketball is fucking wild.
Anthony Edwards looks promising.
Oh, Ant, yeah,
And he's like, what, 19?
scoring 50 and shit.
Dugging on people.
The Rockets. Who do the Rockets?
Oh,
Why can't I
you're
think of
talking
his
about
name?
Porter Jr.?
Yeah, Porter Jr. Well, he scored like 50 that one game,
KPJ?
you know? And how old is he, you know?
Yeah,
So-
he's like 20.
Yeah.
I think Christian was more promising, but he did look good.
But still, I'm just saying, like, there are these young guys. I know it's like, you know, a lot of how the game is played today, the ability to score 50. It's way more common to score 50 now.
Well, you just have guys who are drastically more talented and just simply know more about the game than the older generations did. And I was listening to this guy, I forgot his name, one of the world champions in chess for like 20 years straight, one of those Russians guy, I forgot his name, should remember his name. But just talking about like through generations, like how chess players today are so drastically just more knowledgeable about the game than he was in the 90s, 80s, 70s. You keep going farther back just because it hasn't been around as long.
Yeah.
And now you have guys like James Harden who are changing the way the game is played, Stephen Curry, and you see what they're doing, and it has never been done before. And now you got guys coming out watching that growing up
right.
and saying, okay, that's possible. And then having guys who are training that style of play and training talent. So you have guys coming in now who have like the skill set of the best players, the best possible skilled players back in the 80s and 90s. You know what I mean? They already have these skills coming out of college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, Luka's a perfect example. 20-year-old kid coming out, and he has the footwork of MJ. He has the fadeaway jump shot of, you know, like you just name it. And like this guy is just literally unguardable. I mean, it's insane to
It's a
watch.
transition.
It's insane to watch. It really is.
I always tell people whenever Curry was like, it was like 2014. I mean, when Curry just went nuclear on the league,
Yeah.
I was telling people, wait till, you know, the next guy comes. And he's going to be able to do that with right and left hand.
Yeah.
He's going to go left and he's going to pull up left-handed.
Dude,
Yeah.
we pulled
The same way he's going to go right and pull up right-handed just like Curry.
Yeah.
And be that good at it. And then people are going to be like, this is the best player to ever play the game.
Yeah,
And that, but
for
I mean,
sure.
we'll be like old when this happens. But I mean, eventually there'll be kids who
Yeah, if we're looking at the
are able to do
evolution and
stuff like
the
that.
exponential rate of growth. But dude, we pulled up the stat, or there's a video, like Larry Bird dropped 47 only using his left hand.
Oh
I don't
my
know how
God.
true.
Really?
Supposedly it's
Why
true.
did he do it?
Exactly. That's
Took a
what they
bet?
asked him.
No.
What did they say?
Oh, he had this. I forgot what team they were playing.
I think it was
next.
Magic. I think it was the Magic. Or not the Magic,
No.
sorry, the Lakers. I think it was against going against Magic Johnson or something. Yeah.
No. It was in the playoffs. It was another Eastern Conference team. Fuck, I don't remember who it was though.
Okay.
Let's just say, give me an Eastern Conference team that was good in the '90s. Fucking.
Pistons.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Pistons. So like some playoff game, and he scored like 47 with just his left hand. Then after the game, they asked him. They were like, "Larry, why did you only use your left?" And he goes, "I'm saving my right for Detroit." Like, what the fuck?
That's some savage
even
shit.
I
says
think I've
some
heard
shit
that
like
story
that?
before, actually. Yeah.
I'm
Savage.
saving my right for
Like
them.
he's one of those guys who has transcended his time.
Yeah.
Like being able to use because he was, I mean, super gifted with his footwork and his like he would do shit that just didn't look like normal.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's not operating the same way a normal basketball player does. You know, you're just like, what the hell?
I feel like I watched Larry Bird and like his passes, like the way
Yeah.
he would. No one passes like that anymore.
Rondo.
Well, I mean,
Rondo.
Oh
Rondo.
no! Like now we have Jokic and I mean
Oh,
Luka
yeah,
still
Jokic.
patches
There's a few.
like that
There's
too.
a few, but he,
I mean,
he
Larry
was
would like,
different.
and he would like go up to the rim, but then he'd like and like pass it from back behind
He's
his
a
head.
little,
and
he's a
shit.
little flat, a little
Yeah,
flair,
Larry
man.
was fucking
He's some-
flashy.
He
Yeah.
had some swag.
Yeah.
And you
for
look at
sure.
him, and he just looks like a fucking custodian. But he was like the smoothest motherfucker. You know what I
And
mean?
he talked a lot of shit apparently, too,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
He talked a bunch of
You
shit.
ever
I
watch
mean,
that
that was a perfect
documentary?
example.
You ever watch what was it called? Not Fire and Ice. That was the one about Borg and McEnroe. I think it was just called Larry and Magic, and it was just this
Oh, yeah,
documentary
yeah.
about like just the battles that they would have,
Yeah.
and just like the way they would go back and forth. I mean, it was really. I mean, Larry really would talk his shit. If he had just been able to stay healthy and he could have had a longer career.
And he still had amazing career.
I know. I mean, he's regarded definitely as one of the top 10 all time, by a lot of people. Top 15
sure.
at least, for sure. He's one of the best basketball players who's ever lived. So it's just crazy to just see what these guys can do and what's basketball going to look like in 2040, No idea.
That top 10 list is gonna look a lot different.
I know.
Yeah, I
than
mean, you
we
got.
remember.
I mean, Giannis right now. Like Giannis can go down as top 5 greatest of all
Yeah,
time.
you could end up putting him up there
sure.
with like Kareem.
Yeah,
Will,
and that's
LeBron.
why I think this year, I'm just like I think either this year, next year, like he's
This
really
year.
gonna start to just dominate the East. Like it's just gonna be, he's going every year. I feel like this year is gonna be it. Like he's gonna go. I know for sure he's gonna get there. Like to me in my mind, I feel like they're gonna beat the
Yeah,
Nets.
you have to play Brooklyn.
I
Man.
think they're gonna beat the Nets, and I think they're gonna
This is a
beat them.
hot take. I can't wait till they play it. That's
I
gonna be
think
fun
they're
series
gonna-
to
All right,
watch.
we'll have to watch some of those games together.
I
Yeah,
think they're
we
gonna
should.
beat
You're
them.
invited over, but anytime you want to come over and watch a game, just come on over.
But
yeah.
it's gonna be tough as hell. But I feel like their defense is just so strong, and I feel like Giannis just like they gotta. I just feel like this is gonna be it. But like it's just far as like how he is as a player. I feel like he gets overlooked so much because he's not super flashy. He's not, but he dominates the game in a different way. Like he dominates the game like a Bill Russell would, like you know what I mean? Like someone that's just like makes plays that aren't getting recorded, but like. The offense has to literally change everything because he's standing in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, okay, what do we do? Like, you could try to do a little floater or something. Nope, not doing that. Pass it out. Just little things like that where he's like contesting everything or he's just moving around. Like, I don't know. And then he's fast. He's strong. He's got everything you could possibly
handles
want.
the ball like a guard, you know? Like
Yeah.
But you know who that reminds me of?
Who?
Like 2009 Dwight Howard. That reminds me of
Bro.
like 2000 Dwight
Yeah, I
Howard, where
mean-
you're like, man, that guy is just a physical specimen.
Defensively, yes.
And like,
but not
Dwight Howard-
offensively.
offensively, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Giannis
Yeah.
has a little bit going for him
Sure.
with the you know the transition.
I mean, teams
scoring.
literally had to create a new defense to stop him. Build a wall. Fucking like, what the
'cause
hell?
you can't stop him downhill.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
dude,
So,
Dwight Howard, man, back like in his prime Dwight Howard days,
yeah.
probably the most athletically superior player ever.
For a while,
I
had
think
it
he might be the
unlocked.
most athletic person that's ever. I mean, like he had like Wilt Chamberlain athleticism.
I put Russell up there too.
Westbrook.
For his size.
Yeah, I
oh,
put
Westbrook is
Russell
definitely
Westbrook
the
up
most
there, too.
athletic
There's
guard
so many
who's ever
people on
lived.
the list now.
Westbrook is the
I
most
know.
athletic guard that's ever lived. But just in terms of players in general,
Yeah.
dude, Dwight Howard was built like a fucking action figure. All right,
Yeah.
like ridiculous.
His shoulders are stupid.
His reach,
Yeah.
his shoulders,
Yeah.
and he would. I mean, like you would shoot like a mid-range jumper, and he would just like swat it out of the air. You know, like how many times did he win Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't know.
3, 4,
How many times did he win it?
4 times, I think. Maybe
no idea.
shit, maybe
Multiple
5.
times in a
yeah.
row. Yeah.
Dwight Howard.
But it did make me think when you were saying that. It made me think of Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
Giannis
Dwight.
made me think about Dwight.
Yeah, defense. Because
Like defensively, because you're like he's in the paint. All right, well we can't really. It's
Right.
kind of
it's
a
that.
no go.
Yeah, it's that, and then the team he has around him is big. Like Robin Lopez in there, or sorry, Brooke Lopez. Wait, which one is it? Brooke, right? I'm getting them mixed. I know they're twins.
Yeah.
Brooke Lopez, whatever, 7'2" or whatever.
Dwight won it 3 times in a year.
3
Yeah.
times in a row.
Giannis has already won it twice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like he's dominant defensively, but then he's almost virtually unstoppable offensively if they know how to use him right. And that's the biggest thing I feel like now with different coaching, teams around him is different. I mean, they just look so solid and just dominant as a team. Like
Yeah.
if I could pick a team, like I feel like that would be the team I picked over all the teams in NBA right now. Like if I wanted to like be a coach of their like starter team, like you know what I mean? Like this
It'd
team
be
is
that team.
it feels like it's built like old school, like
I can see
hard,
that.
like PJ Tucker and
Like defense first kind of team.
yeah, Drew Holiday, like
It seems like a defense
dominant
first kind of
defense.
team. I would say.
Lopez, one of the best defending centers in the league. I mean, it just feel like so solid. Middleton is just a great. He can get the mid-range bucket anytime, like the mid-range jumper, which is so important in the playoffs. You know, I feel like they're built for the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As good as the Nets are, I just feel like I don't know. Something tells
Well, it should be
me,
good
Do you
series.
feel like
We'll see.
Giannis is clutch though? Like, do you feel like game on the line?
dude, he's so young and he hasn't had. I feel like hasn't had ample opportunity, and plus he doesn't have a jump shot to get you. He's not that type of player. He's not the guy giving the ball the last minute, the last second shot. He's not that
That's
guy.
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, I just don't think if there's in this Brooklyn and Milwaukee series, if there's games that come down to like, you know, late in the fourth quarter, like who is going to take this game, I just don't see him taking over or taking precedent over late game performances
Chris
by
Middleton.
Kevin
It'll
Durant.
be Middleton.
Chris Middleton. That's why
It'll be
you
Chris
have.
Middleton.
That's why you have Chris Middleton.
Most underrated player in the NBA.
He's insane.
Yeah.
He's insane. If you look at his numbers, like his efficiency will blow your mind. Like you look at his efficiency and how long he's been doing it, blow your mind. And he's hit multiple clutch shots.
Sure.
He hit one in the Heat. He hit a buzzer beater on the Heat. No one talks about it. He's just like, oh, goes unnoticed.
Oh, yeah,
He flies
that's
under
true.
the radar.
I forgot about
no one
that.
even
No, I
knows.
was gonna bring that
He
one, but
flies
just
under the
didn't.
radar. You see, he has those guys. And another guy who can hit that shot is Drew Holiday. He's
Yeah,
a vet.
Drew's a big
He's a
person
vet.
for them
he has
on
a
that
he has a
team.
great jumper, and they don't need Giannis to do that. He's not. That's what he's not there
He's
for.
not- yeah,
he's
not
there
his
to
role on the
dominate the
team.
game all the way through and get you rebounds, blocks, easy buckets, easy 2-point buckets. That's what he's in the game for.
But if we're talking about, like, okay, let's look at the guys that are like the top 5 in the league. Can you put someone in that box that just cannot win games in the fourth? Because I'm telling you, I've watched Giannis just not be able to take over.
He's not. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't put him in a clutch, like, take a game
But what
over.
I'm saying is, like, what
that
does that
kinda
say
guy.
about him as a player?
He's not that type of player. He's just not that type of guy.
Anyone can be that type of player. You know what I'm saying? It's just
No,
a testament to,
no,
like...
because Shaq wasn't that type of player. You don't go, all right, we need a bucket. Get the ball to Shaq. No. You all right, let's run a play. Derek Fisher off the screen or something. No, that's what they're that type of team. They're like, who gets the ball? Who's hot in that moment? Who gets the ball? Let's run a play. Let's run a set play. They run set defenses. This is an old school built team. That's what I'm saying. This is not one-on-one basketball, ISO, fadeaway jump shot. That's not this type of team. This team's going to try to get the most efficient bucket, whoever's hot. Like, you know what I mean? That's how they're going to play. That's why.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That blows that argument out of the water. Like, is he going to win games in the fourth? That doesn't matter. That's not what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and be efficient offense.
they're just
That's
not
just how-
beating Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's just how it is. They're a different team. So
Yeah. I just
Should
think
be a
Brooklyn...
fun rest of the NBA playoffs.
And
Yeah.
I didn't want to get on the Brooklyn train. I was like very late into the season. Originally I was like, Philly's got it this year. Philly's going to go all the way. And I just don't see that anymore. Now I just don't see
They're-
how Brooklyn loses.
yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that their offense is literally unstoppable. The only
there's
way
nothing
the
they
Nets
can do.
lose is if they beat themselves. But
Yeah.
I'll say the Brooklyn Net or Milwaukee has the best chance of helping them beat themselves. I'll say that. You see,
Okay.
you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because like ultimately, any of those guys can get a bucket anytime they want, but you can at least contest or make it difficult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Milwaukee has the best chance of doing that.
Yeah, this second round it's really the Eastern Conference Finals. Like whoever comes out of that,
Yeah.
I'd even say it's the finals. I think whoever comes out of that matchup probably would take the finals. I don't think there's anyone coming out of the West that I don't know. I mean, do you?
LA going down is a big shock to
Yeah.
my forecast.
It's
I'm
a
like, I don't
huge-
know
it's gonna
who
fuck
to
my whole
put in
bracket
that
up.
place.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Suns, like, they look really nice, but can the Clippers do it? No way. I
If
don't
the-
believe in them. I believe in the Jazz more than the Clippers,
Yeah.
honestly.
I
Wait,
don't
why
know.
are you saying Clippers? The Clippers are down 3-2
They're down
right
3-2.
now. The Mavs
Yeah.
are gonna freaking take
Because
the series,
Mavs
man.
will not win the next series if they move
I
on.
think so. I think the Mavs and Nuggets have the best chance of winning the finals right now in the West.
So wait,
The
all right,
Mavs
so
and the Nuggets.
Mavs and Nuggets for sure.
I
so
agree with Nuggets.
sure.
if the Mavs move past, they'd have to
Mavs,
play the
dude.
Jazz, right? Yeah, the Mavs can beat the Jazz. The Mavs can beat the Jazz, but the Mavs.
Dude, the way Luka's
I don't
playing
know,
right
can
now,
they?
the way Luka's playing right now, who beats them?
But the Mavs
he
have
beat
a problem.
them last year though too. They beat the Clippers last year too.
Yeah,
Who?
Luka,
They
he's
lost.
a matchup nightmare for them.
No, they lost.
they
The
lost
Clippers
that
won.
series, but
Oh,
it
they
was
did.
like a crazy
Porzingis went
Luka
down
series.
too, though.
Yeah.
okay.
But like Luka hit that game winner, that huge game
Oh,
winner,
yeah.
and but Porzingis went down. So they
Yeah,
have a healthy
that's a big-
Porzingis. They have a
that's a good
healthy
point.
squad, and they have a. What I
It came
also love
quick.
about the Mavs team is they have a lot of great 3-and-D guys, with Dorian Finley and the other dude like having defensive guys who can just like stand out in the 3-point line and just hit your big bucket 3-pointers anytime you need them is
Yeah,
so
that's
nice
true.
for him to have. He can just like kind of play. He can go ISO if he wants. He's not getting a good bucket. He'll make someone come help kick it. Like
Yeah.
that team is
'Cause
solid.
It
man.
was the Nuggets that beat the Clippers last year, right? No, who?
Lakers.
No, they didn't. They didn't play each other. I don't.
They didn't play.
No.
Oh no, I'm
I don't
tripping. I'm
think so.
tripping. I'm tripping. Who did they play last year? I don't have to see it. I forgot.
Shit. Well, who did the Nuggets? Who eliminated the Nuggets?
It was wasn't it the Lakers?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
don't know.
Lakers
I
beat-
can't remember who the Lakers beat to get to the finals. I genuinely can't remember.
Yeah, because it wasn't
I think
exciting.
it was the Nuggets, and weren't we like, no, that's they. I don't know.
I have to look it up now.
Yeah, no, I don't know as well.
But anyway, I feel like the Mavericks struggle with young athletic teams. like teams that are just really young, really fast paced, really athletic. I feel like that's who beats them, you know? And so I feel like, you know, I don't know what would happen between Dallas and Utah. Be a good series.
That was a good series.
Yeah, it'd be a great series. I just think the way Luka's playing,
And
it's
playoffs
like,
came quick again.
I know.
NBA flying by.
I just don't see anyone beating Luka the way he's playing. He can just keep. He's not slowing down.
Are the playoffs usually this late? Aren't they a little bit later this year? Isn't the finals usually happen in June, and it's like
Yeah,
only
I think
second round right now?
Well, the season started in December, but I mean it was a shortened season, so they like normally it's 82 games. This year it was 72, but normally the season starts in October.
so it's like
so,
like running 2 months
yeah.
late, really.
So I mean the finals, if the finals go to Game 7, the last day of the NBA season would be July 22nd. Which think about it, that's so long. Like the
Yeah.
NBA playoffs started on May 22nd. It's a 2-month playoffs. That's kind of crazy, you know.
That is. That's really fast.
But yeah, I mean the season's going to be ending almost in August, which means like when is the next NBA season going to start? Because usually it starts in October.
They got to get back on track.
Yeah, so it's going to be another super short off. It's going to be
Yeah.
another like 3-month off season,
sure.
and then let's see, is this the bracket? The Magic were in, yeah, this must be it if the Magic were in. So let's see, the Nuggets beat the Jazz. That was that crazy ass series.
Yeah, Murray and Mitchell went off.
Was that last year?
yeah.
Yeah, that was in the bubble.
Get
Murray.
one
and-
that's full, where it like shows the champ.
What does this say? Clippers and then
Mavs clips.
Oh, Mavs Clips. Yeah, and so then Clippers. Okay, yeah.
Dude, it was the Nuggets Lakers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's when Jamal Murray was like trying to will them to,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was just
There it
like,
is, right
Jamal
there, 20
Murray.
right there, under in the middle, the very middle.
This? Right here?
No, the very middle
Oh.
one, right there.
Yeah. Okay. Here we
That's what
go.
it was.
This is the answer to all
it
of our
wasn't. It was
questions.
the Clippers.
Oh yeah. See, that's
Wow. It was the LA teams.
Yeah, I thought it was Clippers and Lakers. That's
okay.
what I thought.
Yeah,
I can't believe the Rockets won a playoff game last year. A playoff series.
And they, I mean, barely. I mean, like there was so many games. Like every time they beat OKC in that series, I felt like it came down to the wire.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
remember it's like, why are we even making it close to
It was
the
like dudes
Thunder?
like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was like
Yeah.
looking like a superstar against the Rockets. Oh fuck, the
remember
Rockets
that.
are so fucking sad.
It's
Anyway, all right. So then, yeah, I guess Adam was right. It was Lakers Clips, and then, yeah, wow, and then we ended up getting Lakers Heat in the big dance. But okay, so going back to what you said about like players just have so much more knowledge of the game, and it's like, what do you attribute that to? Like, why do you think players are coming into the NBA now so much more, just like well versed? Is it just because the access to the game is there with the internet, and you could just sit there and watch highlights all day and watch your favorite player for hours on end? Like, why do you think players now are so well adapted to the game just right off the bat? Coming into the NBA, they already have such a high basketball IQ. Is that just access to information, or I mean, what?
I mean, just looking at people are starting younger and younger to understand. Like, I mean, obviously it's trial and error. You know, like with drills and certain like techniques and working out, like it's trial and error. Like we know what works and what doesn't work.
Right.
Back versus, I mean, even go 20 years ago, there's still people are training in very old school ways. You know what I mean? Like versus now, it's like the training has completely changed. The way high school players are training.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're training like pro athletes almost, some of them. You know what I mean? Like these guys are doing drills and trainings that pro athletes are doing.
Yeah.
This wasn't a thing that long ago. And then you have guys who are literally like training from the age of like 10 years old, and they're already better than your average high school player. And you're like, what the hell? So it's like you have guys like that coming out, and you just, okay, they're 10-year-old that good. And then, I mean, you obviously get them to high school and college, and they're incredible. And so we're just seeing this rate of growth. And then you have technology. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
technology's
think
huge.
it's like
I mean, yeah.
access to data and information about, you know, what works,
Yeah.
and, you know, access to the sport. You know, it's everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
it's way more prominent, so more people have access to, you know, really good basketball resources. You can play nearly anywhere.
Right.
You can find, you know, a way to get on a team if you don't have the means to.
Sure.
So it's just very accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, plays a part as well.
I agree. Would you say basketball is the most popular sport in the country right now? It's definitely got baseball beat.
Yeah,
You think it's bigger
I mean,
than
it
football?
has to be. It has to be, right?
Yeah,
It's
football's
close.
kind of
Football's
declined.
close just because there's so many people. There's
Yeah.
so many. It's just a big team, so there's like a lot of people that play.
Right. 53-man roster, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it is probably declining a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now, yeah, I think I would argue basketball has to be the most popular sport in the country.
Yeah, I don't know.
in terms of global popularity, I mean, it's skyrocketing.
Yeah, for sure.
So many countries across the entire planet love basketball. You know, it's such a great game. You know, I mean, just think, there's fucking basketball courts just everywhere. You know, like you have so many opportunities to play basketball. I mean, kids, you know, can just hop in a league so quick, and so it's really cool.
Yeah.
But you know, I just love, like, I've been really wanting to join like some sort of local league sports. Like I've looked at like bowling leagues and shit like that. I just think it's fun to.
We
get
actually
out and
just
do
played
shit
in
like
a league
that.
recently.
You guys did.
And,
you guys went pretty deep, didn't
I
you?
think the company's called SportsKind.
Yeah.
So if you look up SportsKind, they have like beginners
All
to
kinds of
intermediate
leagues.
to advanced, and so,
like
anyone
you can
play.
join based on skill level. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they confirm your skill level?
Exactly.
don't.
That's
Can
that's
you
the
just
problem.
sign up for
That's the
beginner?
problem.
And
That's the problem.
dominate?
We ended up
So we
losing.
had like,
yeah.
you know, we were pretty competitive, but we weren't, you know, we didn't sign up for advanced or anything. We played,
like intermediate level.
yeah.
Or? Okay.
And it was a recreational is what we signed up for, and
Right.
so
Did you have to pay to play?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to pay to play.
And then, you know, we get all the way through. We went out, or we lost to the team that won the championship
Yeah.
twice. We played them in the championship, but we played in the regular season.
Mm.
In the regular season, they beat us by 20 something. In the finals, they beat us by 20 something. And I think they won every single other game against every other opponent by like 30 plus.
Fuck.
yeah,
yeah.
It was
So
simply
they probably
because they
should
had,
have been in.
It's some guys that have been
They should have
playing
been
together
advanced, for sure.
you know,
Yeah.
many years. They have a lot of chemistry. They played high school basketball, you can tell.
Yeah.
You know,
Their team was
maybe
stacked.
even college.
Even all of their bench guys were all super athletic. They had like 6'5" guys, 6'6" guys. It was just stupid. And we're like, why are you even playing this? It wasn't even
Didn't
fun
seem
at
like
that
it.
point. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course they're having fun, just kind of giving it to everyone.
Right.
But like, don't you want to be challenged a little
Yeah.
bit? You
Yeah,
know, like,
it wasn't.
just kind
Yeah,
of.
it was stupid.
It's like at that point you're like
Poaching
the
these
Harlem
t-shirts.
Globetrotters. You know?
yeah,
They're
they
just
had
like-
their own jerseys.
They were.
They
were
made
like
their own
that.
jerseys and their own gear and
And
stuff.
the worst
It was
part is
stupid.
then you know, not only are they just pounding on people, they're also like talking a lot of
Oh,
shit
yeah.
and like
man.
being toxic too, to where it's
Right.
like, dude, I
It-
mean,
now
not only
it's-
did you sign up for a league where you knew you dominate, then it wasn't enough to just
Bro,
dominate.
yeah.
Now you want to like put
Tom,
people down.
They
and,
had
like,
to stop
talk
our
shit.
game. We didn't even finish
We
our
didn't
game.
even finish it.
They stopped it. They were like, "This game's over."
Because y'all were
Done.
just getting into it.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
was getting into it. It was just so choppy and chippy. Everyone was just like, "We're not taking like, especially me and TD, we're not taking that shit, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna push you. I'll shove you. I'll talk shit to you. You're not just gonna do that to me. You know what I mean? I'm just
Right.
not gonna take it." So like, it was just ridiculous. They ended up having to stop the game. It was crazy.
Damn, and it's
Yeah.
like at that point it's not even fucking fun.
No, it
you know?
wasn't.
No, it
It
wasn't.
wasn't.
It wasn't fun.
It was terrible. I left so mad.
Oh, and the other thing was, you know, you play one game a night through the regular season, and then playoffs come around, and you know, one seed plays the other seed first, and then we play ours, and then the championship is right after. So we played back-to-back games. It's an hour-long game, 20-minute quarters, well, 40 minutes long,
Yeah.
or 20-minute halves, two halves, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we finished the game, and I mean, within literally 5 minutes, maybe not even 5 minutes,
Yeah,
3
not
minutes,
even, dude.
they're like whistling up, jump ball, play again.
Oh shit.
Against the team that just sat for an hour and watched us
Right.
play,
Yeah, it was so
and is like
stupid.
ready to play now.
That's
And
ridiculous.
it's like, and then they come out just sprinting full speed, and we're all gassed. I mean, we have like
Yeah.
6 people on our roster. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't.
How do they
What
think that
the-
would work? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
like,
very unfair.
yeah. I mean, it was.
But anyways,
tough.
there's definitely a ton of stuff
It
like
was a
that
ton
where
of
you can
these.
go and join and just play like a beginners basketball league or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just have fun. Even
Yeah.
like 7-on-7 football stuff like that. I would love to play something like that.
Volleyball.
Volleyball would
I
be
got
great.
really into volleyball lately.
Love volleyball. Yeah, it's a fun sport.
Volleyball is a cool sport, and that's another sport where there's like loads of places to just go and play. You know,
Yeah.
tennis is what I've been getting into. I think tennis. Well, I love watching tennis.
Dude, we didn't even talk about tennis when Sid was on here. Tennis, because he's a tennis player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sid's a squirrel.
We had this joke. He was like, he's like, or did you say that? You're like, or if you're Jesus, you were squirrels
No,
or something.
Sid
We're
said
like, what
that.
the fuck?
Adam and I used to give Sid a lot of shit because we were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're Mr. Badass at tennis. You're so good."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Yeah, whatever. You know, we played doubles against you. I bet we could kick your ass.
Right.
You know,
Uh-huh.
2-on-1. You know,
Yeah.
you have no chance." And he's like, "Yeah, right. You know, I'd be out there," and he just like would not entertain it at all. And so me and Adam are looking at each other, you know, with our, you know, confidence. We're like, you know, we got this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. And then one day, randomly, it happened where we had the opportunity. Remember that?
You played them 2-on-1.
Yeah. But, you know, before that, he was like, out there, I would be like Jesus, and y'all would be like squirrels. and then that was the joke.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, but he ended up actually being, you know, Jesus-like. He kicked our ass.
Yeah, we couldn't even hit it. We couldn't even return a serve.
It's
just
a huge disparity
Yeah.
between your hasn't ever played tennis and your has played tennis.
Oh, yeah, like-
just like anything else, you put 10 years into it.
I
Obviously,
mean,
you're
shit,
gonna
my
be-
girlfriend played in high school, and she was pretty good in high school, but
Yeah.
like she went to college, didn't play in college, but like
Yeah.
she still maintains all. And it's like we go play for fun, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
she's like really fucking good. And it's just like I feel like tennis is one of those sports that like you watch it on TV and you're like, I could definitely do this. You're just hitting a ball back and forth, but there's like way more mechanical shit.
Yeah.
Like once you dig into it, like the actual motion of how you swing in tennis, it's not like a normal like you just think of like, okay, I know how to swing in like baseball and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but there's like,
just, like, whack it.
different motions in tennis that you have to like putting topspin on a ball.
Yeah,
It's
how you
not a
hold the
normal
racket.
thing. Yeah. So, and I've played racquetball. I used to play a lot of racquetball,
Yeah.
and in racquetball, there's not much finesse. Like you can totally succeed by just mashing it in racquetball. Not like that in tennis.
Yeah, you hit it out of the court. My girlfriend and I are the same way. She played in high school. And
Really?
when we play, it's like very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like similar footwork to like get to the ball, so I can get to every ball nearly, and get it back. But
Right.
I mean, she beats me just as much
It's
as
just
I
like
beat
the
her.
ball placement and just
Yeah, she'll just hit shots where I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting.
But
that.
it's one of those like I want to get good at it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I join like some sort of tennis thing on like a beginner level, and then they have those apps where you can like find people in your city to play tennis. It's called like Tennis Pal or something like
Yeah.
that, and you can just like, okay, this is how good I am, and it just links you up
That's
with
pretty
players.
cool.
Yeah. So I think I might just start doing that. I
Yeah.
just I want to do something.
Yeah.
Tennis or
And
like,
it's good because it's outside too.
But yeah, I know.
Refreshing.
See, that's the thing. Like bowling is funny and it's cool and it's like you can drink while you're doing it, but then you're just like in this fucking building with no windows.
it's dark.
It's dark
Always
as fuck. There's like you just listening to Katy Perry in a room with no windows. There's TVs everywhere. But I want to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like the pandemic was kind of like an inspiration time to like everyone should just go outside.
Yeah.
It's like you can't do anything cool indoors, so I think a lot of people kind of got into doing sports and stuff like that. So if it was good for anything, the pandemic was good for that. I think it helped people realize like going outside and doing stuff is really fucking awesome.
Yeah, it seems like it's coming back. That people are actually able to go out and do things. And
Yeah, it's
enjoy
weird how normal things are starting to
post-pandemic
feel.
life.
Yeah,
I walked into Target today and I didn't have a mask, and I like looked around like someone was gonna come running at me.
I know.
I like walked in there, I was like this, like someone's gonna come
Yeah.
tell me to wear a mask, and
Like,
then it didn't happen.
The
I was
other
like,
day,
wow.
I had to go to the store and like I parked and I'm like halfway through the parking lot and I realized I'm like, oh fuck, I left my mask in the car. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in there,
Yeah.
and nothing happened. It was very normal, and so it was just like we're getting back to normal.
Yeah.
God bless Texas
Yeah.
Yes, 'cause it's not like that in California.
or New York.
We went to go watch when we were in San Francisco 2 weeks ago. Sid and I, we went to go watch the Warriors game. It was the play-in, and we went to go to see it at a bar.
You guys went
We were in Oakland.
like you just went there just for the play.
No,
like,
no,
that
no,
was
no,
your
no,
main
no, no.
intent.
We went
oh.
there it was for something different. But
I was gonna say like I didn't know you were that big of a fucking Warriors
No,
fan.
not
Okay,
at all, not at all.
that's crazy.
No, but we got to see it like in Oakland. It was pretty cool.
How's that
but-
new arena?
Oh no, we didn't get to go to the game.
Oh,
no,
okay.
but we were like in the city when
Oh,
the
I
game
got
was
you, I
going
got
on.
you.
So we got to see like kind of the culture of like.
Oh,
I mean, there was like
dude.
a bar that shut down the street to like put
the Bay Area
roll
and
it
their
out.
Warrior for sure.
They're
Yeah,
a huge
I've been
fan.
to the Bay Area a number of times, but never like during the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like they really love their fucking team,
Yeah.
so that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a really
so we were in
cool.
the Bay Area for that, and then we tried to go somewhere, and they were like walking through the line, and people were waiting for a long time. You could tell,
Mm.
and they'd be like, "You got your vaccination card? Okay." And if you have it, you could just skip the line.
Yeah.
And you just cut the whole line. And so
That's
they were just
crazy.
looking for people, and you had to have a mask everywhere. Is a lot different than Texas.
Imagine just carrying your vaccination card everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like your ID now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it, I don't like it either.
Hey, so I wanted to talk to you, TD, before I don't know where we're at. We're getting pretty deep in here.
We
Yeah.
got to be
Uh,
almost 2 hours at this point.
About 1 hour 40.
Okay.
But about
do
just like I guess climate change and just like how our culture views, our relationship with the earth and like things like that. Because we've had many conversations about it, and I know you're passionate about it, and I know Tom is, and so I feel like we could have a good conversation about this. Like, one, what do you think is gonna happen like in the future? Like, what is your outlook on it? And then two, what do you see that's happening right now that you think can be some of the biggest like impacts that we could have to like start changing this like dramatically?
Yeah, I think, to start, I think, I'm pretty pessimistic about like the future, about like, our trajectory. And, I equivalent, I love ship analogies.
Sure.
So I feel like we're on a huge ship and we have course, and to change course on a huge ship, like you have to make a lot of changes and you have to crank the wheel. I mean, you have to turn it all the way and completely change course to change your path that you're on. And I feel like for humanity as a kind, humankind, to stop climate change, it's like we'd have to change so drastically. I think that it'd be like,
and so quickly.
Yeah, and so quickly that it's like near impossible. But if we were able to do it, it'd be the greatest achievement of mankind ever. But what I do see that, currently probably the number one thing that I see changing it the most and the fastest is people's diet. I think that thing is, people's diet, and going to vegetarian, and eating a, more sustainable diet is probably the quickest way and the biggest change we can make the fastest. And I think the more people that get behind that as, an idea, and they're like, you know what, yeah, I'll do that. I think that's kind of one of the biggest impacts, because I think once you do that, it also shares an appreciation for nature, and knowing that, because some people would go vegetarian. I mean, I think it was like, I'm not completely vegetarian, but I eat probably like 85% vegetarian. I really only eat chicken and stuff when I go out to eat. I was just like, yeah, I'll indulge and try this out. But it's because, the slaughter videos, man, and seeing the reality of like where your meat comes from.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, we're just raising these animals in incredibly unrealistic, it's not natural, unnatural numbers.
Yeah, man.
Just to kill them, put them on a plate, and feed yourself. And it's like, look how beautiful a garden is, right? Like a garden, you see a garden, you're like, holy shit, look at that eggplant like growing right there. Like, look how cool that is.
Or just like look at rows of crops. It's like aesthetically pleasing.
It's incredible.
But it's cool that we're having this conversation, because I'm definitely like the least like you two in this room. Like I think, I had pork, sausage, and eggs for breakfast this morning. Like I really enjoy meat. I understand that like it's completely not sustainable. I understand that it's very flawed. I really like the way it tastes. But I've tried. I've told Adam about this. I've tried to cut back on the amount of meat that I eat. I try and do, I'll try and do one day a week where I eat no meat at all that day. Mm-hmm. Like, I know like the funny internet terms are, meatless Monday and shit like that. It's not like I do it every Monday, but I try very hard to like, reduce my meat intake, because it got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm eating way more meat than anyone, and like red meat too, So I am trying. I don't think I'll ever go full vegetarian, just because I really enjoy eating meat. But I think if everyone just scaled back, like
that right there, exactly. The fact that everything you just said, like I like meat, I enjoy meat, I'm the same way.
But I recognize that it's not sustainable.
You recognize it.
I also recognize that it's fucking not good for me. Like I understand that. I those days where I just eat plant-based shit, I actually feel different. Like you can actually notice a difference. And I've watched things like Food Inc. or like knives, and I feel like there's
Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over Knives. I've seen that one. And like it's like, how could you watch shit like that and not go?
Yeah. And
like,
it have an impact.
Dude,
on
I used to be, when I was in college, I used to eat so many fucking Tyson chicken strips. I had a bag of Tyson chicken strips in my freezer at all times. I'll never buy another Tyson product. Yeah. After like seeing, and I know like it might be like hypocritical to like, I'm never eating Tyson, and then I'll eat Boar's Head, because I know Boar's Head is also like probably not the best company. But just like watching the shit that goes on at Tyson was like so disturbing that I was like, I'm sorry, I just can't be a part of this shit.
Chicken nuggets in my fridge at home from Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, they're like the dominant. It's like they're the fucking Ford of chicken. It's just like, or whatever. But you watch what goes on in those Tyson chicken plants, and it's just first of all, it just looks disgusting. Yeah. Like,
can you look up how many like land animals are slaughtered every day for food?
Oh yeah.
Like what is that stat? Because that stat is mind blowing. And then the newest.
Just in the U.S. or in the world?
I mean, just do U.S. Why not? Just do U.S. The world would be too mind boggling. But there's the newest documentary that came out on
Seaspiracy.
On Seaspiracy was incredible, man.
That one was even more alarming. I mean, you really think about it. You're just raking, like bottom trawling.
Right.
Is
just
scary.
Destroying.
You're just destroying ecosystems on the bottom of the ocean.
How is this real? 25 million farm animals.
No, more than 9 billion farm animals were slaughtered in the United States last year.
And 25 million in a day.
So just think,
Exactly.
every day,
That's just ridiculous.
just mass slaughter,
That's
just killing,
insane.
just mass killing, blood being shed.
yeah.
25
It's not. It doesn't.
million.
It's inhumane.
It's okay.
Like
okay.
you don't have appreciation for your own life
That
if you're
is-
slaughtering at that rate. I kind of see it as like that. Like you don't
Wow.
appreciate life in general.
Right.
Dude, that
I
is
think your
actually,
perspective, like people's perspective, has to change to appreciate all life.
For sure.
I mean,
And like plants, like even when we're building cityscapes and things like
Right.
that, like you gotta not cut down a 1,000-year-old tree.
Right.
Like you go around
Right.
the fucking tree.
Right.
Like, and like you don't
Yeah.
raise an animal just to kill it.
yeah, that's one thing I really like about, like in Washington. I have family in like rural Washington and like the western part of the state, Gig Harbor. You look at neighborhoods out there and you'll just see like it'll be like a house nestled in some trees. It's like, okay, they pick
Yeah.
a space in between the trees. That's where the house goes. Here it's like
Oh.
we want to build a subdivision, level everything,
Level the pine
Yeah.
tree forest to the
Yes,
ground. Like, just rake it, raise it.
level the oxygen factory that's right here, and put, and then it's like, well, oh, why does it flood all the fucking time? Maybe because you cut down all the fucking stuff that soaks up the rain.
Oh, the best thing is they cut it all down and then they just put rows of homes and then they plant a little baby pine tree right in front.
Yeah.
Then they go and they literally put a little circle
Right.
and they put like a little baby pine
Right.
tree.
But
But
it's
it's like you
like-
couldn't just like when you were developing
Right.
that land, like keep
It's
some
so
of the fucking trees.
But in
how
Washington,
hard is that?
It's so ridiculous. In Washington, though, like if you ever go to my uncle's house, it's just houses just nestled in the trees,
Yeah.
and it's like. So
It's
anyway,
beautiful.
a lot of this like comes back to it's just like how rapidly the human population is rising, and it's like at what point will it become unsustainable for us? Because like we're closing in on 8 billion people.
Yeah.
How many more people can we add before?
I mean, actually, quite a lot. I actually had this question, and I was looking it up, and there's actually a ton of land that's still.
Well, I'm not
like,
talking
a
about
lot,
like
you know
that.
what I
I'm
mean?
talking
But,
about like if we live the lifestyle that we're
Yeah, I
living
know
now,
what you mean.
where it's like we're at 7.5 billion,
Yeah.
and we're just in America. America's what 350 million
Yeah.
people. 300.
Yeah.
So we're like 350 million people deep, and we're killing 25 million farm animals every single
Yeah.
day. If the population of America were to rise by double, right? Let's say we got up to 700 million people in this country. It would become so unsustainable to have like a meat-based diet for them. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
that number, that's way more
Wait,
than I
look at
expected.
that. Go back to that real quick. I think right under it did say there was like a clock that you can look at, like each
Oh
second.
yeah, there's one you can watch. U.S. Animal Kill Clock,
Look at it real quick.
2021.
Oh
That's what I
God.
It's not
I just want to see it.
for the faint of heart.
So this is this year.
2021. US
23
Animal Kill
billion this year. Wait,
No.
billion? No. Yes.
Yeah.
23 billion.
So we're
23
halfway through
billion.
the year. About halfway through
That's
the year.
all. That's all animals.
23
What the-
billion.
I guess some of those are not considered farm animals.
I mean, like pigs,
Um,
shrimp, fish.
But
Oh,
this
alright,
is
alright,
this
alright.
is the thing about
Okay.
climate change, though.
If you're
to
counting
me,
like shrimp and shit, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should look at that number when it was like 9 billion in a
you
year.
got to take off the fish.
Just
That's
look at-
three. That's 4 billion of it.
just look
and
at the-
Look at
you
look at
gotta
the
take
shrimp.
off. Yeah,
Shellfish is 43 billion. Yeah, you can't count that shit.
count
Okay,
those.
but look at the chickens.
Yeah, the chickens is wild. 8 billion. Holy
8
shit.
billion.
8
yeah.
124
billion
billion. No, that's okay. That's a million. Okay.
8
The pigs is more
billion-
reasonable.
8 billion chickens.
That's crazy.
8
And the scary
billion
thing is the
chickens.
35 million cattle
Cows.
because the amount of land that takes up.
I know.
But look,
Bro,
this is
think
the thing
about
about climate change.
123
This is
million.
only one
I know.
piece.
It's so yeah. It's,
I mean, we
it's one
haven't
piece
talked
for
about
sure.
transportation.
No, yeah.
You know, fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fishing industry. After Seaspiracy,
Yeah.
it's like, come on. Like, how can you eat fish after that? And it's everywhere. I'm surprised.
Right.
Like, you go all the way inland where you're like, 1,000 miles inland from every, coast that
Sure.
there is. And they'll have like shrimp po' boys.
Yeah.
And you're like,
for sure.
how is
You're like,
this
what the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how do you have this?
So, and it's like I love salmon. Salmon is like probably my favorite protein to eat. I fucking love it. And whenever I buy it, I always buy purely because of taste, always buy wild caught. I fucking love wild caught salmon. But if you look at the numbers of like what's happening to salmon populations,
Yeah, it's scary.
it's
Did
terrifying.
you see the farms? Did you see the farms in Ireland?
No.
Apparently, there's like it's on Seaspiracy, so there's like so much. They're constant.
Is this a documentary, Seaspiracy?
Scotland
Yeah, dude.
salmon.
Watch Seaspiracy.
Scotland
Where is it? Can I
salmon.
find it on
Netflix.
like a,
On Netflix.
Okay.
So
Seaspiracy.
And a lot of salmons come from Scotland, and they farm it. They farm the salmon in massive numbers for sustainability. But the salmon poop, and so there's so much salmon feces that it's like poisonous to the environment. And now that's its own effective like devastation to the environment. So like what we thought was going to be sustainable, like sustainably farming salmon, became even worse because now they're turning white because of the deficiencies in the water, because there's so much shit. They're just swimming in their own shit, and that's all that.
And
there
that's
is.
got to be horrible to eat them after
Yeah,
that,
and you're
right?
just eating them in their own. I mean, it's just like it's just completely.
I think that's a great example of understanding, like, whenever we try to make changes that we think are good, ultimately, like, okay, we think that's going to be a good idea.
Yeah.
We can feed people. We can still have this food. Let's do it in a way that we think we can do it right. But then it alters something else.
Yeah.
And it becomes dangerous. So like I've literally come to this understanding that once we leave the planet alone, and I think the more we can get to natural ways of operating, the way the world works naturally, I think the better. And the less we have our hands on something, the better. And this is where it comes to like sustainable, like farming, and you have these guys growing like farms where they're like trying to do it the most natural way possible, and there's like all this life. There's a ton of like farming documentaries I watch are fascinating about like sustainable farming, and the way they're doing it is incredible. Like the soil, the richness of the soil. That's another huge problem. Is we're not talking about the soil here in the U.S. and the soil has gone to shit. And that's the ground foundation of everything. How everything grows, how everything gets its food. Where do you think all the land animals get their food? I mean, the soil is the number one spot, and there's millions and billions of microorganisms living in there. We've killed them all.
Yeah.
But once we let things happen on its own, I feel like the better. And we're gonna have to have our hands on some kind of way, in whichever way we need to sustain the amount of people we have here. But I feel like the better and the closer we get to the natural cycles of the earth, I mean, you can't go wrong, right? And that's another great example of that, where we try to do something right, but it's us trying to do it, not nature. Like once we let nature do it, stop building so many dams, you know what I mean, and stop fishing so much, let things get back to natural. Because we know, and we witnessed this year through COVID, once everything shut down, how miraculous a lot of things went back. Like the air quality dramatically dropped. Populations we saw around the world started to increase of all these animals or different things, you know, so we know how resilient nature is, and we know once we step back and look, we know it can come back very fast, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And and going back to the topic of how we can make change is like, once we change our perspective in our relationship with other animals and other life in general, like plants, we just had an episode of like, Are Plants Conscious? If we can look at life as like a divine miracle, the fact that we're on this planet, on this earth, floating in the fucking middle of this universe that we, you know what I mean? There are billions of stars all around us. We're floating in this random little rock on this planet that is abundance of life. And if we can realize how much of a miracle it is that we live here and are able to share this planet with all these other living organisms, and if we come from that kind of perspective and that understanding that we're sharing this planet and not dominating it, and that we're the only things that are important, we're the most intelligent, best creations that God has ever made and walked this earth. Once we lose that identity and that ego and strip that away and understand that we're sharing, I feel like we can come to a much better place of, you know what I mean?
I think that's the most powerful and the most important sentiment that people should share. I think that's like the one. It's like next to the golden rule, like respect the planet and the fact that you're even given this chance, like and like make an effort, you know, to keep it going, you know, for the future. And it's hard because it becomes political very quickly.
True.
As well, you know,
which is sad,
crazy.
You know, like how is that something that's politicized?
It's like Obama said, you know, how it's interesting how in politics, like you come in and, you know, everyone should have the same baseline of fact, but like for some reason we don't anymore. like people are saying like, no, climate change isn't even real, which is
fucking bonkers.
It's great. It's bonkers, dude. It's fucking bonkers. Like, how can you fucking believe that?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
And on that topic, we lost like love and care for ourselves in many ways too. Like a lot of people just don't do the bare necessities of keeping themselves. Like if you're not treating yourself like with like love and respect and like compassion, putting good things in your body and doing things like for yourself, like how can you expect to put that out into the world or do things like that in your environment? You know what I mean? And we've lost that in many ways.
We have.
Yep. God damn. That would be a depressing note to end on. So let's find
No,
something
no.
else.
I mean, there's hope. There's hope.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, it'd be the greatest achievement. And I think we're slowly there. I mean, I'm doing something that's similar. I mean, we're in a booming industry. Solar's, the number one jobs growth industry in the U.S. right now.
Really?
I mean, that's a hopeful thing right there.
That's incredible.
Right? There's jobs just left and right. People are leaving oil and gas, and they're coming to solar and renewables because they see it. There's like-minded individuals like you and myself who study geology, but we don't mine the earth for its minerals. I have friends that study geology and got into petroleum, and they're like, dude, I want out. I'm just so disconnected from it emotionally that I don't want to do it. I had opportunities to go and work in oil and gas, and strictly because of how I feel about it. In terms of sustainability, I'm like, hell no. Like fracking, like why are y'all still doing that?
Right.
Like I know you guys make great money, good for y'all, but like
it's like at what
you
cost,
could make you have great experience. Take that experience and do something that makes sense.
I mean, it would be a global effort to change where we're at now. And I mean, but yeah, it's like what you said earlier. It would be the greatest human achievement if somehow we all flipped a switch and like we all made our primary goal sustainability and like saving the planet. I always like hesitate to call it saving the planet because it's like the planet's not going anywhere. Like the planet's gonna be fucking fine. It's saving our ability to exist on this planet.
100%.
Which should make people more apt to like want to join in because it's like it's not saving the planet, it's saving us.
Yeah, it's saving humankind. We're all one species. We're trying to live here, and that's what we have to do. And I think and I can admit, like, I probably do sound like a hypocrite at times because it's like I enjoy a steak and I enjoy a V8 engine. You know what I mean? Like me too, man.
So, but it's just like
you can still have those things.
It's hard. Yeah. So
I do think that the millennial generation.
Oh, definitely.
Is the one.
And Gen Z also.
The people after it's us. Coming. We have so much access to so much information. Maybe our parents don't believe it. Maybe they grew up in a different era where radio waves and television waves reached them and kind of told them what to think and gave them longer lifespans and really gave us the comfy life that we have now. Mm-hmm. But now we take this comfy life. Jobs will end up going to the wayside to robots, and we'll have to focus on different things, and that will be the next step of human development, which would be like self-actualization, learning more about ourselves, what we are, what our purpose is. Sure. We're gonna develop that together, and hopefully we can all hold hands, sing kumbaya, and save the planet together.
Yeah,
maybe we'll learn something from each other.
Who's that super? He's like really famous scientist, physicist. Starts with the M. He's fuck, what's his name?
He's
Something Kaiko, Mui Kaiko. I forgot what his name. Dang it! I saw a video of him the other day. Anyway, he's super intelligent astrophysicist, and he talks about like alien civilization and what like there's like tiers to it. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and like the top levels. It's like basically how they use energy, and basically whenever like you start to understand like where we can go as like a civilization as far as like in the future, it's really developing our consciousness into another levels of like understanding. If you think about like where we are now, we're so still like in the primal stages of like where our civilization could go and where like humans could be. You know what I mean? Because we can see the potential, but like we're still stuck in this primal warfare. We're working 9 to 5 jobs, like very like we're not living up to our fullest potential. As like what the human civilization could be. And whenever you start to realize there's like levels to this, and like the next level is like raising the consciousness of every living thing on this planet. If we can raise that, whatever that means to you, living in harmony, being more loving beings, or just like, just elevating everyone on that level would be like, it is like the next step, you know what I mean? And then we can start, because once we come from there, then we can start to actually build sustainably. Then we can start to live,
right? Because we're currently, we're a mess.
Super mess,
and we got to heal each other, through like what you're saying, balance, harmony, love, peace, love, positivity.
Raise our vibrations, man.
We do. I think we're doing it.
And if you say stuff like that, everyone's like, "Oh, you fucking tree hugging hippie," and
But I think of like alien civilization. Think of like a super tech alien civilization who they've transcended warfare. They've transcended like day-to-day conflict. You know what I mean? Like
That's
think of
true,
a civilization that's like that. Like what is their goals? What are they striving towards? If it's not war, if it's not money, if it's not these things, you know what I mean? What is that? What does that look like, right? what are, like, so then you start to think the possibilities are endless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I
Deep
like
dive
it.
there.
Yep.
Yeah. For real, for real.
Good
Good.
place to end it.
I'm sipping mushroom tea right now.
Are you really?
Yeah. Y'all know Four Sigmatic?
I'll try it.
With
No.
plug. I'm on the last drip.
Ah,
Shout out to Four Sigmatic. If you want to get some mushrooms, get your fungal entities. Right now I'm drinking reishi mushroom.
What?
Yeah, get on that level.
What does it do for you?
It's basically sorry, this is not reishi, this is chaga. Chaga is like really good for immune support, like bolsters your immune system. Basically just think of like an energy field around you. I don't know if it's like that, but it's like it's supposed to be like super good for your immune system and has a lot of like adapted. So like a lot of these mushrooms are adaptogenic, meaning they basically work on whatever your body needs to be worked on. And it's basically what it does.
supply
Yeah.
deficiencies.
Yeah, supplies deficiencies or helps things work properly. Yeah, so you can get lion's mane, reishi, chaga, cordyceps.
Cordyceps.
Yeah, you can.
Cordyceps
you
help
can
your
consume
oxygen uptake,
cordyceps.
right?
A lot of athletes consume
Isn't
cordyceps.
that fucking mind control
Yeah,
mushroom?
it is.
Get the fuck out of here.
You can consume it, but there's awfully different species of cordyceps, right? It's not just one cordyceps is all like, you know what I mean. So there's
I only
different
know
species,
one
but-
cordyceps,
yeah.
man. It's the thing from The Last of Us.
Dude, those things are wild, bro. Yeah, parasite mushroom. But anyways, yeah. So like all of these can do different things, and lion's mane's incredible because it actually help regenerate like neurons in your brain and help like brain
Where are you
function
buying
dramatically.
this?
Four Sigmatic.
What the fuck
I don't know
is
what it is. What
Tell
it,
me
it
where
sounds
that
like you're
is.
saying a rapper's name.
Four Sigmatic sounds like a rapper and a chemical. Like what?
Just
Four
Google it.
Sigmatic.
Just Google it. Just Google it
raps
real quick.
about
Yeah,
you know
right.
like
Four Sigmatic.
space.
Like four Four and then Sigmatic. I think they're Swedish. No, not Swedish. There's some European company. I
there it
forgot
is.
where they're from.
Sounds like you'd have a song with Tech Nine. Like what the fuck? Four Sigmatic and
And
Immortal
then Tech
Technique. Yeah. Shop.
Just go to their
Four Sigmatic.
website. Yeah, just go to their website.
Do they have a brick and mortar location?
They're awesome, dude.
You just bought
you
this
can
online?
get protein blends. You can get coffee mixed
Hey,
with
this shit
mushrooms.
is mad expensive. $120 for the ultimate
Yeah,
smoothie
it's a little
kit.
expensive, but I mean, it's
I'm gonna come to your place. To
it's
try
one
it.
of the only.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink your shit.
No, I get it. I usually ask for it as gifts, like birthdays or
That's a
stuff. Like,
good
hey,
call.
give me some mushrooms.
Yeah, give me some mushroom tea.
But they're like one of the top, probably best brands and most reliable and, you know,
Do they sell?
sustainable.
Are they in stores at all? If I went to a Whole Foods.
Maybe. I don't know. I've gotten everything online from them.
All right, if you can spare some of your expensive
But
ass
go-
mushroom drink, I would love to try some on the show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Go up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's delicious. And some of them you can
Ground
like
mushroom coffee.
some of them you can like mix with like cacao and get like the hot cocoa kind of flavors. You can drink it cold or hot.
What do you want me to go up to?
I was saying go up a little bit more to.
You think they'd sponsor us?
Let's ask them.
All right, look. Go. You see the other links that says think, defend, chill up in the top right. Go click on one of those.
Let's go to chill.
They should.
All right, you see, look. They
Mushroom
have,
cacao
You see,
mix.
it's reishi. You see, it's cacao mixed
Uh-huh.
with reishi.
Mm.
So like
Reishi's a type of
reishi
mushroom?
is a type of mushroom. So like you're basically getting like ground up mushroom, and it's the fruiting body of the plant. Not the plant. Of
How
the
long?
mushroom.
What? Okay, so what is this like? How much?
That's how I get in those little
10
boxes
servings.
in the little packets.
10 servings. That's what I want to know. All right, so
Yeah.
10 servings. So it's
Oh,
essentially
$1.60.
$2 per. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
$2. Yeah. 'cause
Oh,
you'll pay
it's
shipping.
okay. So it is 16. If
I
you
mean,
if
yeah,
you
so
subscribe,
shout out
but
Four
if you buy it
Sigmatic.
once, it's 20. Yeah. So if you buy it once, it's $2 a serving. Four Sigmatic sponsors. Imagine that discount code
Anyways,
midnight
Yeah, it's
for
plug to them.
10% off.
Because that's the next like leading edge. You talk about like there's this whole trend for like superfoods and like
Yeah.
different things that like
Mushrooms, they're
how to
coming.
get the most nutrients and most like beneficial things in your body. Mushrooms are like the next step if you want to like take your diet or your health to another level.
Yeah.
Check out mushrooms because they'll blow your mind. And there's still so much research and stuff going on in that field. It's fascinating.
Wow.
So anyways,
Look at
I
these
got
that up.
reviews. Wonderful nightcap. Helps me to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're incredible stuff. So.
Dude, thanks for having me on the show, you guys.
Thanks for being on
This
the
is
show.
great. Y'all got a good thing going. Like I
Come
said,
on anytime you want.
I've watched a lot of episodes. I like it. It's been really. I got a great setup here. I walked in the front door and I was like, damn, these guys are living it up. Post oak. Walk in. There's plants. It's like an indoor atrium. It's beautiful here.
It is a very cool
Get to
office.
hop
love
on
it.
here.
We love it, dude. We got
We-
that fresh air blowing through the vents and
Dude,
stuff.
I feel important coming on this podcast. I feel very. This might make us famous.
There you go.
We're gonna be famous after.
That's
this.
funny how many people walk into the studio and they're like they completely change. Like
Yeah.
they're
It's something about
funny.
being
Very
in a
serious.
like
An
a
actual studio, yeah.
feels. it just
Yeah, because
feels good.
if we were
does.
recording this by like in our apartment or a pool, like it would feel completely different.
No,
right?
yeah. But here you're in like this like a holy place.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
we're
you
ready.
like you come in and you're like
You guys are
center
legit.
yourself.
You guys are very.
Thanks,
legit.
yeah,
I'm
very-
ready to come back and
Very professional.
fun.
Come literally anytime you want.
Yeah.
Dude, I keep saying it. This is therapy for me, man.
Yeah,
This is
this is
therapy
good.
for me for real. Like, just being able to come and talk and get out of my ideas. Because I annoy
Yeah.
Bree every time I come home. Like, Bree, guess
so
what I learned
much-
about? I learned about plants. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, leave me alone. She's like, walks out of the room. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
But, you know, it's like, so like coming on here, I can just get out everything that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
Well,
Good.
it was a really good episode.
yeah, it was fun.
So
That's fun.
until next time, ladies and gentlemen, drink crazy cool beverages with mushrooms in them, fight for political change, and save the planet. Stay
Yeah, thanks
safe
for
out
coming,
there
man.
in
Of
the
course.
cosmos, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.